Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday night edition of everybody's favorite Rated M podcast. Yes, it is Gaming After Dark. If you got your kids handy, now it is time to put them to bed and let the adults take over. So grab your coffee, your favorite beverage, whatever it might be, and get ready for another fantastic night of gaming news, opinions, and plenty of hilarity. Not to mention, we've got another special visit from the guy from the Great White North. Yes, the North Pole, Mr. Cranky Claus. Santa Claus. He's going to be here later on to answer some of your questions and as well perhaps grade your wish list. So I hope you got them ready. Get those questions ready in advance again for Ask Arnold, and of course Safe House and Cletus will be here before the end of the show. Plus, we got some special giveaways to announce. But before we get to that, let's announce the fantastic panel, and then we'll catch up with the chat. Let's start with, by the way they came into the room tonight, with Mr. Darth Praxis is in the building.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Thank you for having me once again.
Of course.
Well,
The more idiots, the merrier. Thank you.
damn right. And I'm the biggest one. I appreciate that.
All right. And speaking of making the grade, Wize Old Gamer is back and ready to go tonight. What's going on, Wog?
Leave me the fuck alone. The weed is not kicked in yet.
Bruh.
All right. Take a few moments on Huff and Puff.
Puff, puff, pass back to me, puff, puff. That's what I say.
All right. And last but not least, yes, Cranky one himself, Mr. Cerebral Claus is in the building.
So, Darth, Santa Claus wanted me to pass you a message that your wife also said to him. Thank you for having me once again. So,
I'd say eat a dick, but it sounds like somebody already has. Motherfucker.
All right, so we got a good show tonight. Obviously, we're going to quickly wrap up some of the main categories of the Game Awards, what our overall thoughts were, the big winners, and perhaps the big losers of the show. Plus, we're also going to talk a little bit about there's a latest article saying that studios like Playground Games struggling with in-house engines or something like that, along with Fable. So we'll just kind of weigh in on the whole engine debate and a few things like that. See, Hogwarts Legacy also got delayed on the old school consoles. Not that it really matters a whole lot, I suppose, but again, we'll just kind of we'll weigh in on that a little bit later on in the show. Let's catch up with the chat here real quick, shall we? Because we got some amazing people here. We got to give a big shout.
What the fuck is Sir X-Men doing here? I thought he had a fucking job. That's
Yeah,
why
I know,
he
eh? He had a job, but he's in the chat every week. What's up with that?
I feel fucking lied to. You know, if I wanted to...
well, here's the thing, guys. When he's just in the chat, he can't, talk over the show for, an hour and a half, So, it's a trade-off.
Yeah, we give him time to actually read the lines. We got Talos Ray. He's the first guy in the chat tonight. What is going on, Talos? Good to see you. Got Draven Arrow here as well. Spider-Man 356 swinging in for another fantastic week. Casket Repair is in the building. We got the one and only Doggy Dog 420. I knew I heard that bark. We've got Easy Money. Kyle O'Mino. Tony Grasso is here as well. We got Phasma in the building, and I'll put it back in your pants, Wog.
Girl shows up. Hey, how you doing, baby? Jeez.
No, it's not like that. It's not like, how you doing, baby? That's the new rap. Hey,
how do you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, that's
that sounds even more perverted.
Well, no, she ain't doing you, so, yes.
We got our first super chat of the night before we scroll on by. Let's get to this one. It always comes in courtesy of our good friend Doggy Dog 420, who's single-handedly trying to keep Noof Nukem's channel alive. Yes, GAD, like and subscribe. Much love, panel and chat. Well, much love to you, Mr. Doggy Dog. Greatly appreciate it, brother. You're one
Can
of
I
the
say
best.
something to Doggy Dog?
Go ahead.
Can I say, woo!
Woo!
The enthusiasm was almost there.
Delta 89, he's definitely going to go into the draw tonight for one of the movie codes, as well as Spider-Man 356. Although I don't have Spider-Man 356 on Twitter, I will enter him into the draw, and perhaps he can reach out to me somehow. I don't know, through Xbox or whatever, and give me an address so I can send a code. Yeah, I have him on Xbox, so I can send him a code through there. Who else we got? We got our Rob is in the building. What's going on, my brother? Sir X-Man is here, as we mentioned earlier. Jason Max as well. We got Xbox International Podcast is going on up in here. What's happening? And so many more. Did I miss anybody?
Spider-Man 356. Are you going to be coming?
No, he said that.
No, Spider-Man 356. Are you going to be showing up on PlayStation next year?
Oh, jeez.
Hey, we got Vic the Click. Or as Cerebral Paul likes to say,
Vic the Clit. Come on, get it right. Yeah, you gotta,
right.
it's there. It's there. He just,
What's going on,
he
Vic?
didn't.
All right,
Welcome,
Spider-Man
Vic.
says pass on him. All right, Spider-Man. I mean, you might be the only like second or third Canadian in the whole chat tonight, so I gotta try to fill up this wheel somehow. We have a very small contingent of Canadian fans here. That's awesome. Cable Grant might show up. You never know. Maybe he'll be here. But anyway, let's move right along, guys. Quickly, and I will start with Darth Praxis first on this one. How did you feel about the Game Awards? I mean, obviously, I guess surprise, no surprise that Elden Ring took the Game of the Year. But I mean, what did you think of the show overall? Were there any surprises for you? Did like the show, was the show good to you this year? Was it crap? What did it need to improve? Any stuff like that?
I would. It was it was a mess. It was kind of boring. I mean, there was aspects of it that were kind of interesting, but for the most part,
Flute guy, you mean?
Oh Jesus Christ! Like I said, I was on the chat. I was in the chat with with X-Men was on a panel, and I was going on, and that guy, I swear to God, was gonna blow a load. I was like, holy God, dude, look like he's gonna. They got some fucking they got some drop cloths and some fucking raincoats for his co-fucking musicians. He's like, yeah, he was going, but he was actually fucking awesome though. He kept switching instruments. I think he was just showing off. Check it out. Well, look, I got a flute. I got a clarinet.
Yeah, I think the guy's an instant celebrity now, apparently.
Oh, he was fucking crazy. It was his enthusiasm fucking made the show though. Like that was the best fucking part of the show. It was like, holy shit, it's alive for a second. But the rest of the show, it was all right, but it was definitely I don't know.
Most people were tuned out after Christopher Judge finished his opening award speech. Am I correct?
He hadn't finished yet. He's still going.
Yeah, no kidding.
You picked it up on Twitter.
Now, who motivated? I just want to know who fucking motivated who. Did Christopher Judge motivate Sir X-Man, or Sir X-Man motivate Christopher Judge with that fucking speech? That's what I got
on the same podcast again.
No, man. Actually,
you know what though? Afterwards, I looked at it, and for all the years he's been an actor, and he's been a great actor. This is only the second ever award he's won, and the other award was also for his Kratos work years ago. Yeah, he's never won an Oscar, never won an Emmy.
Well, I wouldn't say his work with like Stargate was Emmy. Well, I mean, Emmy worthy in some ways it was though. But
I think in some ways it was absolutely, yeah.
His voice and his character were amazing though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was inspirational for me. I dug his stuff, but yeah.
I mean, if you go look at all the stuff he's actually done,
dude, he's done a ton. Yeah, he's awesome.
So even though, I think part of it is I think that tilt speak, that slow speak that he does. That's just his normal cadence. I don't think the man could get excited if he wanted to.
Thank you, Daniel Jackson.
I think the whole speech delivery, I think that's just the way he talks.
And I appreciate everything everyone has done.
And he didn't even fucking say boy. I mean, in the entire speech, I was just waiting for him to drop that line, boy.
That would be mistaken.
Any award show, the Game Awards, like 8 minutes is quite long. I mean, we get the passion, and I know nobody could fault them for that. I mean, you applaud them for it.
I did love the fact that when they finally started to play him off after like 5 minutes, because it took them a while to figure out, well, maybe we need.
This motherfucker ain't shutting up.
He got louder.
Can we shut him up already? Get the hook. Get the goddamn hook and drag his ass off.
I thought, you know what? It'd be funny because the Oscars people never do that. They hear the music and they stop. If he would have won an Oscar, he would have just got louder over those guys.
Put his hand back, like fuck off. No, I ain't done yet.
They should have the guy that looked like Fat Thor come up on stage.
It's time to leave.
The funny part is,
now, if it would have been somewhat planned, I would have loved to seen in the background Al Pacino waving somebody off stage to bring him a chair. It just so he could.
I thought he was there for comic relief and also
longer speech.
I think
Jesus Christ.
I think there was a contest where Valve was giving away a Steam Deck every minute, and when with Christopher Judge's speech,
there was.
With Christopher Judge's speech, I could imagine Gabe Newell was like, "Get the motherfucker off the stage."
I thought Pacino was the fucking AA rep for the fucking thing. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, stop drinking.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And did you
20 of these in the fucking budget here? Let's go, boys.
Put him on. Take him off. So what was that? Was a bad fucking mistake. Oh my God. Get him the fuck off the stage.
Did you catch later?
Put a bottle behind him. He'll go.
Did you catch later in the show when Keely quickly went, and hopefully they'll keep their speeches shorter? Crap.
Dumbass.
He was making jabs the rest of the night. It was kind of
Yeah.
funny. And then people that should have had longer to fucking say something, they're like, the music's fucking playing after 30 seconds. You're like, holy Jesus.
Yeah. I'd like to thank. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna go now. Yeah.
Thanks for the award,
you.
guys. Yeah, thanks for the award. We're getting off the stage.
I'd like to thank my personal priest, Bill Clinton. Thank you.
Yeah. No, Rabbi.
It was fucking awesome. Holy, what a fucking troll. That was beautiful.
And he did it once before too on another show.
Actually, he's done
yeah.
it twice before. He's done
No,
it
but
twice
that
before.
that was fucking epic. He just like they all get up and he's like, I'm just gonna walk on down. Nobody stopped him. Oh yeah.
I want to thank my rehabilitated
Rabbi Bill Clinton. I was listening to the chat and I couldn't hear what he said, and they're like, Bill Clinton.
I was
like,
when I
what?
saw that, I was trying to put two and two together. Like, is this guy part of their fucking studio? And what the hell does that have to do with anything they just said?
Well,
No.
Interestingly, he usually does this for political causes or whatever, but this one didn't make sense.
That was a fucking troll. That was just straight up fucking troll. He just walked up. I'm going to say some crazy
But the other
shit.
times he's done it, it's been
Yes.
to bring awareness to something, and this time you're like, what the hell are you talking about?
It was fucking awesome.
The funny part was like after the show, Keely tweeted that they found the kid and they arrested him, and I'm like, for what? What the
Arrested
fuck?
him?
Found for?
And
Yeah,
that's not even illegal.
Trespassing.
That's just a misdemeanor.
He was just a troll. It was
It would have
beautiful.
been better if he had got up on stage and said the best thing Bill Clinton did was Monica Lewinsky.
The best piece of art I've ever purchased is Monica Lewinsky's dress. Incredible.
No, she still has
Thank you,
that.
Bill.
She still has. Remember, she kept that.
no, the best piece of art I commissioned was Monica Lewinsky's dress.
Praxis, what was your favorite moment then of the show? What was your game of the show? And what did you say might have been the most disappointing part for you?
The show was disappointing. I mean, it wasn't like anything. I mean, there were other shows in the past that may have been worse per se, but this one it was dull to me. It felt like
No trailers got you worked up or excited. I mean, there were some pretty.
Some
good
of the trailers,
reviews.
actually, a couple of the trailers were really good. Like Armored Core was a good surprise. I actually appreciated that. That was
An
interesting.
Armored Core that's going to be unforgivingly tough. It's made by From. What the fuck?
Oh Jesus Christ! I saw that too. I was like,
It's not gonna be a Souls-like. It's not gonna be a Souls-like.
Well, yeah,
better
but
not
that
be the fucking Souls game. Like, Jesus.
what was
It's an
the other-
Armored Core.
There was another game that was announced that people were like, yeah, the show was okay, and there was another big what was it? There was a big announcement. I can't think of it offhand.
Death Stranding was big on there.
Nah, that's Death Stranding. It's just that never floated my fucking boat. I'll just say that.
Lords of the Fallen, Remnant 2, Hades 2. What else?
Fucking throwing.
I like that
don't know.
Vanishers game from Dontnod. That looked pretty fun. Cool.
It was a big game, but I can't remember what it was. I'm fucking stupid. Can't think of it. Yeah, I know.
Horizon.
But my favorite.
Did you
my
like
favorite.
what did you call it? The Suicide Squad with the Batman thing?
That was pretty good. Oh no, it was fucking Cyberpunk, the fucking DLC. That looked fucking awesome.
Idris.
With Idris Elba. That looked perfect. Talk about perfect casting. That one got me. I went, oh fuck, that looks fucking amazing. And like I said, that he's made for a Cyberpunk game. But my favorite moment, that was good. My favorite moment was still the very fucking end when the game won. Judas.
Yeah,
looks
that Judas
awesome.
looks pretty cool. Yeah, the one made by
Motherfucking
the
Judas.
former developers
Oh, yeah.
or whatever.
Ken Levine,
Bioshock,
yeah.
whatever.
Ken Levine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Elden Ring was the fucking part where I was just like, Jesus Christ, fuck, finally. And I was kind of happy just to see the Chuck Norris.
That game was good though.
Yes, Chuck fucking
What is it called?
Norris.
Something City, isn't it? What's it called? Or
No, Crime Boss.
I don't give a fuck.
Crime
If I can
Boss.
play
With
a
Michael
game,
Madsen, the other
Oh.
drunk guy of the night.
Oh,
and
God
Vanilla fucking
damn.
Ice. Vanilla fucking Ice.
The only thing. Oh, Vanilla, that was fucking great. Oh, fucking A, that'll be beautiful.
You know, if you're gonna do a game based in Florida, you gotta have vanilla. Okay,
I always wanted a Vice City 2, and finally, for Christ's sake, I get one.
To the extreme, I wrecked the bike like a vandal.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, that was surprising. Although, I mean, what was it? Rourke was the only one that was missing from them digging from the grave to put him out there on stage. For Christ's sake, he could Mickey Rourke, get him out there too. Let's see who else. Let's get Sylvester Stallone. Who else we can get to fucking
You guys see
terrible?
my post on Twitter where I said I think we finally found the long lost brother of Safe House Sam, Michael Madsen.
Holy crap, dude! Did you fucking? I jumped on it. You're
I saw
fucking
your
right.
reply.
So I'm in a game. Like Jesus.
You guys haven't seen me around.
So I'm selling Kill Bill. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Like, what the fuck happened to you between Kill Bill and you now? Like,
Lots of alcohol, lots of cigarettes. Like,
Yeah, that's
fuck, man.
definitely. I mean, yeah, that guy's probably gonna lose his voice at some point. You know,
Dude, he's it's a what? He's fucking next to. He's next to
Yeah.
Kick It, dude. He's not making it much longer.
How about the
Sorry.
Star Wars trailer? Did that get you excited? Star Wars, what do you call it? Jedi.
Oh,
Survivor?
well, it was kind of expected. I mean, it looks great, but yeah, it looks good. I'm interested in it for sure. Yeah, Jedi Survivor
it
looks
looked
good.
awesome actually. And
Yeah.
but is it next gen?
Stop that shit. Is it a 4090 quality
It's a glorified DLC. Cool, man. Well, that's a good take on the show. How about you, Mr. Wize Old Gamer? What did you like most? What did you hate most about it? Any particular game or thing stand out to you?
So yeah, motherfucking Judas. I am so freaking pumped about that game. Loved Bioshock Infinite. Bioshock 2, I actually enjoyed it as more than most people did. So to hear that Ken Levine is basically making a Bioshock 3, yeah, I'm all about that game. There's some other ones that I don't remember. There was this one where you were like this little elf chick in like white gold, and she was walking around, and wherever she would step in this dark dimension, she would put up like flowers would pop up or something like that. And it reminded me of that game that came out where you played like a wolf and you walked around and the flowers came up. It was pretty good. What else? Actually, to be honest with you, when I was watching the Game Awards, I played the WTF drinking games. Whenever I said "what the fuck," I took a shot, right? And there were plenty of times, and I enjoyed my game. I enjoyed the show after that. You know, I loved watching Miyazaki's translator because he looked like he was fucking nervous. He didn't even know what he was doing up there. So I enjoyed that. And of course, the highlight of the show, Bill Clinton. I had to take 3 shots for that one. You know?
Yeah. You and Al Pacino both.
Yeah, I took 3 shots and started waving my tits in the air. So yeah, I had a great time with it. So, was it the best show? No, there was nothing. There was the 3 major publishers were massively absent, be it PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. You know, they had some ads.
Yeah.
They had their ads, like Xbox had Game Pass, PlayStation had, Play Everywhere or whatever, and Nintendo had all their other stuff.
Well,
but
I know Noof was. I know he'll get to it. He was clearly upset with the very serious lack of Microsoft presence, especially in Microsoft Theater. Their sponsored theater, by the way. But I have to say, Nintendo not showing anything about the new Zelda game, and that's just my opinion, is like, Jesus Christ, guys, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, look, I'm just going to say it like this. Look, here's the thing. I wasn't expecting a ton from Microsoft. Don't get me wrong, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well,
But
especially with what's going on.
Look, and
yeah.
if you listen to any of the big podcasters or any of the major Xbox people out there right now, like, we all kind of felt the same way. Like, you didn't show, like, nothing. We just saw Game Pass ads. Like, that's all fine and dandy, but notoriously, if you look on past history, Xbox has normally come up fairly big. As a matter of fact, the last few years, I think Xbox has come out bigger on the Game Awards than they generally have for some of the electronic expos and stuff.
they
the
revealed
other
their
shows.
fucking console.
So to have nothing, especially consider how much they're touting 2023 as this big year. We're going to see some major games coming out next year. Like, I was expecting to see a little bit more in depth or a little tease of something, maybe a little bit more of the Indiana Jones, because we're talking about that. Like, everybody's speculating as to why they did, and a lot of it's heading over toward that whole deal and stuff because of the lawsuits. But I still think that doesn't mean you can't show stuff that you already have in the works from your studios that you already have.
Well, I
It's
agree.
don't know,
I do.
It just feels like a missed opportunity. And even Cole Eastwood said it's literally outside of E3. It's the biggest stage of the year, and you got fans who are obviously gone this whole year without a major first party game from Microsoft. Not that they didn't have great stuff last year, but again, that's last year. We wanted to see something. And to me, like I said, people say, well, such and such don't have such and such and such. It's like, I don't care about such and such. All the rest of the consoles to me are my side bitch. I'm an Xbox guy. I want to see fucking Xbox shit.
Yeah,
I really don't give a fuck. Honestly, if Sony doesn't, for me, I don't care if Sony doesn't show up. I don't care if Nintendo don't show up because I don't care about them like I care about Xbox. I have invested thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours in the ecosystem of Xbox. And the reason I still have an Xbox is because of you guys, because of all of my friends who play on Xbox, and because I love their franchises like Gears and Forza, which are still the best in the world to me. If it wasn't for that, I could give a shit. I'd take this brand and chuck it in the garbage. Right now, to me, their no show was garbage. It was a slap in the face. Like, what is going on? And Phil Spencer's face almost told everything we needed. When was the last time you seen Phil get called out and he looked like he was sitting on a turnip? Like, it was like, oh, you called my name. Get me off this screen.
Oh, he was clearly fucking pissed off. I mean, he was fucking pissed.
I think something has happened between me and you. Like, I honestly, like, okay, yeah, people are talking about, like Phasma said in the chat, that, yeah, they can have their own showcase. But you're trying, as Xbox, you're trying to lure in new players. Well, who watches an Xbox showcase? Xbox players. So if you want other players that are not Xbox, this would be the show to show your stuff. Hell, you announced your fucking console on this show. Okay. What more do you want? What more weight do you want to put, or what more importance are you going to put on the show? So obviously, to your perspective, this show means a lot. To your PR department, it means a lot. So for the fact that you didn't show it, and then as you said that he looked really grumpy as hell, something just doesn't add up, right?
I think it was a corporate decision. I think that wasn't just him. There was a corporate decision that was, I think, maybe that could be also an explanation why he was so pissed off looking. He might not have had control of that decision per se because of everything going on. There may have been something come down to say, hey, because of all the shit that's hitting the fan, although I don't understand why they didn't at least go into showing what's coming up and highlight it and say, look at these amazing games we've got coming. And I mean, that's the whole company. The whole company is, look at our games. We got games coming out. Here's what's coming. They should have done that. I agree. But I have a sinking suspicion that somebody stepped in and like, no. We got some shit to deal with. We're not going to focus on that. Let everybody else do their shit. We're going to focus, which is shitty, but it sounds corporate to me. I've worked for corporations all my life. It makes sense that they would do something like that. And that may be why he had such a fucking look on his face, because he's like, fuck, he's pissed.
And legal may have come down and said, too, and spoke to corporate.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Because one thing it does is it really did highlight, they did highlight a lot of Sony stuff. And by doing that, Microsoft can now turn around and say, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Because now, yeah, they took a little bit of negative heat for the no-show, but you all have seen me on Twitter the last week. I don't care. All this, they haven't shown any first-party games. I got so many goddamn games to play, I really don't give a shit.
Well, there's that.
I'm serious.
Yeah, we get that, Paul. I mean, you're not necessarily wrong there.
And I know we keep hearing, well, wait till next year. But seriously, God, we know what's coming next year. And unless something else major happens, like Seattle drops into the ocean, we got some big titles coming next year. So that's my whole thing is I'm not worried about it because I know what's coming. Whether it come next week, next month, or in the next 6 months, I don't care. I know what's coming. I'm excited for what's coming. Am I sad I didn't get to see some new shit? Sure. But I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, Xbox is blowing it. They're screwing themselves over. Because you know what? When some of these titles come out, everybody's going to forget about that.
Well, one thing I can guarantee you guys is that everyone on this panel and everyone in the chat will definitely be coming long before Microsoft.
Everybody puts all this importance in. I like Colt and I like those guys, but I think their takes are a little too harsh when they go, well, they really blew it. It's another L for Xbox. Why?
No, they did
Because
no,
you didn't get to see what you wanted to see.
no,
Is that
no,
why?
that's not what it was. Not what it was. PlayStation's games were winning all these awards. Nintendo games were winning these awards. The only
In the running, at least.
well, yeah, the only console that was not mentioned at all in the entire 2.5 hours was Xbox. So
Well, that's not true. No, no, not true, because the one game did deserve to win, and it did, was As Dusk Falls, which was on Game Pass day one.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Yeah, I know it's only one mention, but so you can't say that wasn't mentioned at all. It's not true. Well, now it does look like Sony bought a shitload of advertising time during the show, even more than Microsoft did. Wow, but
it's just the optics of the whole situation. Like, if you were a player,
but I guess I don't put as much on. I don't put on much on optics, because who watches? Most of the people that watch the show are people that are already in the ecosystems anyway. Whichever one.
Thank you for joining us for the Sony show.
It's the way, like I said, it's the way the shows come across and are perceived, right? Because if you're largely watching this show, you're thinking it pretty much was the Sony Nintendo Awards, and you're just kind of.
Which it's always, but it always has been considered the Sony Awards.
Which is probably why, as well, Microsoft also may have left a lot of money off the table for this show, because they're like, why give you all this advertising dollars? When basically all your games are mostly going to get awards, and our games are going to get shit on regardless. I mean, we know how the Game Awards likes to move around the whole the whole deadline dates to make sure that Sony games get nominated. You know what I mean? And like I said, I even knew Gran Turismo was going to win in its category, simply because Gran Turismo needed a win bigger than any other game at this show. Because
that was one of the wins. I didn't think it was deserving. I thought some of the other games on that list were much more deserving than Gran Turismo.
But Gran Turismo needed it, because now they have some face to save, right? Because now it's an argument against Forza. Because I said, I would have liked to seen it go up head to head against Forza. Because honestly. Then if Gran Turismo would have taken the award over Forza, I would have definitely called this is rigged, because come on, guys. If you're a true racing fan, you play both of those games.
But what do you think, Paul, about God of War winning the accessibility award?
No, that was probably the right thing.
I talked about those games because everybody last week was asking me about all those games. Every game on that list was deserving of winning, so I'm okay with that. Any game on that list that was listed could have won, and I would have been okay with any of them.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were pulling for Dusk Falls, right?
I was pulling for As Dusk Falls.
Well, you like the game more, right?
Well,
generally,
and I'd spend more time in As Dusk Falls than I had at God of War at that point. But every game listed on that list, I'd at least touched and played and looked at the list and looked at see what they could do and stuff. And a lot of them, they shared a lot of the accessibility options. So yeah, I would have been happy with any of those games.
Hold on,
it would have been. Now, see, I don't know how their voting works because I don't know who all votes and stuff. But when we've seen the list of the members,
handies and reach arounds,
come on, it is Sony centric. Even those who have the key votes outside of the public are Sony centric for the most part. No. But it would have been, because because it's a trade off. You either go for a straight win or lose, or you start looking at, well, they're already getting 3 more awards, so let's give it to one of these other guys, which is an issue with some awards programs, which is why some people make the choices they make too. Is they go, well, I've already voted for this one twice, let's vote for this one this time. So if that's honestly what the voters thought, that God of War did great, then fine. Like I said, any of those games were worthy. They all deserved it. And this is the first year where I have played most of the games that were nominated in each of the categories outside of any of the Nintendo stuff. So.
Yeah. We did have a few
this
more
was
people.
Probably my most knowledgeable year for all the different games that were nominated for everything.
So, Wize, what was your game of the show? Was it Judas?
Yes, definitely Judas. I am so pumped about Judas. And it's coming out next year too. Awesome. Oh my God. It's like, I've always enjoyed the world building that he did. And I hope there's something there that he sort of links this world of Judas to the BioShock world. Or if not that, at least a couple of Easter eggs, which I know he'll definitely have. because he always does.
When I was watching the video for Judas, I mean, you could tell it's got BioShock written all over it.
Yeah.
The transitions, the way he does the scenes.
Yeah,
and
it
stuff,
does.
It looked like BioShock.
Yeah, and the art style is a very familiar presence, especially after what was a BioShock Infinite, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, but your wheelhouse, right? Like he knows what he's an expert at. And that type of game, that first-person shooter, RPG, whatever thing, mechanic, whatever you want to call that,
gotta stick with what you're good at.
Well, it's like people
don't fix
bitching that. Well, Callisto Protocol just looks like Dead Space, and you want to go, duh. Yeah, what's your point?
I think it looked a hell of a lot better than Dead Space.
Oh shit, yeah.
But a lot of people that's why they gave it lower ratings. Right. Well, it's just like another Dead Space, and you want to go, well, no shit, they said that from the beginning,
I have 3 games of the show. One was that one, obviously. The other one, 3 top games. There are a lot of games that I actually like that I can't remember the names of. There's this one game called Scar or whatever. But but the 3 top games for me were, of course, Judas. The second one was Hades 2. That looked really nice. I don't know if any of y'all played the original Hades, but Hades,
that got a lot of love. Lots of people bringing that one out. Then the second game looked really cool. Let's quickly catch up with the chat real quick before they pop in and out here. We got Mr. Bushido and 7 in the building. What's happening, Bushido? Could play some Call of Duty with you. Got to catch up with you and do that again. We got John Wolf in the building. John Wolf, got to get you on this show at some point too, my brother. I think it would be a great time to have you here. Dion Hayes gracing us with his presence. As we said, our good friend of the show, Dreadpool, is hanging out in the chat. Good to see Dread always here. Boozy the Clown is in the building. We got Pixel Slappa. Princess Zelda is here. Another lady in the building.
How you doing?
Yeah, come on.
Yours just doesn't sound right. Okay, I know you got a good voice, good Mr. Movie Man voice, but you just want to say it like this.
How you doing, baby?
Now you just sound like Jeffrey Dahmer. Now you just sound
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, Lord.
Wow.
Barry White, buddy. Barry White.
No, it's like the only difference is the butcher knife. All right.
and that whole like cannibal thing, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, and Dahmer wouldn't be talking to the ladies. We know that.
No,
so,
probably not.
What
Probably
did you have for dinner, Jeffrey? Liver. Oh, that sounds enticing.
Dreadpool, how you doing, buddy?
No, it goes like this. How you doing? Okay, there you go. Oh, by the way, before your ass cut me off, there was a third game that you cut me that you didn't let me mention.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
How it feels.
Oh, go fuck.
Go and say it. No, go and say it. Come on, go and say it. Come on, Wize. Come on, I'm waiting. Go and say it.
Don't Nod's game.
Yeah, Spanish.
What is that game? Yeah, that was a pretty good game. That was my third game of the show. So yeah.
It's funny because I've been saying for a while, like if Don't Nod ever hooked up with another studio and they sort of made took their storytelling and their narrative, but sort of made more of a traditional game, I think it'd be cool. And sure as heck, that's what it looks like to me. Go ahead, Wog.
With what? I'm drinking now. let me fucking drink in peace, okay? The weight is kicked in now. The alcohol has to do the job.
All right.
So.
Paul, I think we probably talked about it already, but go ahead. Some of your best parts of the show, things perhaps you didn't like, things maybe they can improve for in the future. I mean, the pacing was a little bit better this year, but.
I mean, it was an award show. I don't know.
Right.
I never know what people want to. It's an award show, and then people complain that there's no trailers. Like, it's an award show. Have you never watched an award show? They're boring. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How many times did you masturbate to the female presenter in the opening act?
Sydney Goodman.
The one wearing the one wearing the bathroom rug from
1965. Yeah, the one wearing a Muppet. Yeah, the one wearing a Muppet.
I thought I said on
very happy Muppet.
I was with Mike on NLG, and I said, "It looks like somebody skinned a Muppet." I said,
They killed Elmo. They killed Elmo.
Now we know why Animal was excited all night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look like girlfriend. Yes. Look like girlfriend. Yes.
Her fucking.
They should have had Animal come out and hump her leg or something. I swear to God.
Oh, I would.
Awesome.
They didn't need Animal to do that. I would have done it. Her fucking thighs. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. I nutted just twice just in the opening act. I'm like, wow.
I mean, who's the wardrobe person who looks at her and goes, "Yeah, that looks good, babe. Go with that."
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like somebody just took some frills and tossed it at a glue stick. You know, it was
Yeah.
Top design.
yeah, that was yeah. But yeah, I give her credit, like Wise said. At least the dress was kind of short and the thighs were out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever was sitting in the front row probably got a good view when she was standing on the podium that was off the stage.
I wasn't thinking anything like that, Paul. Ever.
Your
Yeah,
name
you
is
were.
Sydney Goodman, or
sick,
because I was
perverted
thinking it was
fucker.
Sydney Good God.
Sydney, oh my God.
Yeah, but I mean,
Or
it
more-
is what it is. I mostly look forward to the trailers and stuff too, because you know the Oscars, the Emmys, they're all like this. They're all boring unless you're really into it. You know, but what I wasn't happy with some of the choices that were made, because some of them really head scratchers. You know, but we talked about it in last week's show. Before the show, is some of the the sport and racing game. Those should really be two separate categories.
Yeah,
you
no
know.
shit.
Yeah, and you should, some of them you should just call game in a can category. Okay, all the Maddens are in this category. All the NLA, NBAs.
Give it its own
you know.
category. Does this win the Madden Award? Yes, it wins this Madden Award. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
because I mean, it's
All
funny
right.
that those cookie cutter games get in these awards at all, because they never. They're the same from year to year. There's really nothing new and jaw dropping about any of those games. Why
But if
are
they
they
have to
getting
fill-
nominated?
Because if they have to fill a genre, what are they going to put? Nobody puts out a new sports game besides an iterative one most of the time.
But that's what I'm saying. If that's the case, don't have a category unless you're going to name it like "Here We Go Again." The category,
I like that.
Fuck.
Yeah,
But
like
here we
I don't
go.
know,
again.
it's another thing every year. It's every year too. Like some of these award categories are just like, can you guys stop just creating award categories for the sake of trying to award another game that essentially shouldn't even be in a category? It's like they're making up fucking shit. Sometimes you're just like, what the hell? Like make them make sense. And as well, like for some of the major categories where they don't even get up to come up on stage is really disappointing. It's like you just give them like 2 seconds of airtime. This person won earlier in the night, and you're like, that's kind of a major category. Like, I get how the esports kind of get left off, but there's some where you're like, yeah, you'd like to see those people come up and get the recognition they deserve. But instead, you're going to get
that's the other,
5,000.
one of my favorite
Get a commercial.
one of my most obscure favorite categories is always like influencer of the year. Who are any of these people?
Who gives a fuck?
Who builds
This
list?
influencer goes to Ludwig, and everyone is like, who the fuck is Ludwig?
I never see any of these people trending on Twitch or YouTube, but somehow enough of you know them.
The only guy I ever fucking knew was Boogie when he won that award that
Yeah.
year. It's like I knew Boogie, but that's about it.
Most smoke blown up an ass by a desperate attention seeker. Here we go.
But let's
I
call
mean,
a spade a spade here. Like they had Al Pacino on it. They had Michael Madsen on it. They had
Yeah,
some
their
pretty
choices
big
weren't really
guys.
that deft, in my opinion,
Yeah.
per se.
I mean,
They even got James Bond himself to announce something on there. Like,
Excuse
Jesus.
me.
I mean,
He sold his
it's
soul
got-
to Sony many years ago. Come on, we know that.
Well, I mean, it's come a long way from what it was, and it's quite impressive to see where it was and where it is now. So, I mean, I see what he's trying to do with it. Is it there yet? No, he wants to make it like the Academy Awards for gaming, but it's still going to be an iterative process for him to get it to where he wants it to be. But it is quite impressive to see where it was and where he has it now. So
Impossible,
That literally
John.
should be a game category. That should be a category, I think, that John Wolf.
Nobody will ever be in
but
it.
there
That's
would-
the
there would
problem.
never be anybody
No
nominated.
winners.
There would never be anybody nominated.
But it's the fewest. A game that can launch with less than a 1 gigabyte update. Okay,
They had to
there you
go back to the NES and Super NES games and Genesis. Oh, there, fewest bugs. There we go. We
No,
re-released
even if
it.
you went back to a lot of those, you would go, "Oh yeah, there was a bug there. There was."
Oh, there were
no
bugs,
glitch
but they
there."
weren't
Yeah.
like as.
Yeah.
Fuck.
game with the fewest bugs, Pong. There you go.
Actually, no. Pong had some fun glitches.
Let me regale you.
Dude.
Paul's like, fucking accessibility in this game sucks.
Fucking garbage.
We're all colorblind. It was black and white. Jesus.
Hey, Wog, your date's early. Your date's here, but she's early.
Yeah.
You gotta make me a mod so I can block these bastards.
No, you thought it was
Did
black
I
and
not
white,
fucking
but
make you a mod
Oh
already?
yeah, I am a mod. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I told you the fucking weed has kicked in.
I'm pretty
dude.
sure the whole fucking panel is at this point. Not actually, Darth Praxis not, but I'll make him a mod.
don't you give me any more power.
Everybody who's ever been
would
on
definitely
new
do
show is a
that.
mod. If you look at the chat, all of us have mod powers. Okay,
I just have
crazy,
asshole
crazy
powers.
Greek dude's in the building. Do your job, crazy, or you're fired.
yeah.
God damn it! You did it, you son of a bitch!
You had one job. You have one job. Yeah, crazy Greek dude.
Yeah, we have one job, and we got one fucking troll comes in, and nobody bans it. You guys are not taking Lethal Papa's job this year, okay?
They're busy clicking on the link. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Most toxic community where it goes to. I think we fucking know that's gonna take that shit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I thought the show was, it was all right. I mean, it was, I think,
Yeah.
For some reason, I remember enjoying last year's a lot better. Probably because I was more excited for a lot of the surprises we got last year.
I like the year that they announced the Series X on the award show. That was fucking dope. That was cool.
I think that's when they peaked. If you look at it, I think that's when.
You mean the
really
awards?
peaked.
Yeah.
The awards peaked. Yeah. After that, it's been a steady downhill thing. I actually was convinced that they were going to announce like the new Nintendo Switch or the new upgrade for the Nintendo Switch because like with Microsoft saying that they have a 10-year deal with COD for the Nintendo Switch, there's no fucking way that Potato is running COD in any way, shape, or form. So I said, well hell, the cat's out of the bag. You might as well.
Unless they put Game Pass on the Switch, then they run it through cloud gaming.
Well, they do. Yeah. Switch does have cloud games, but they stop.
The other question is Jeff Keighley going to bring out Kojima now for the next 2 or 3 years straight until Death Stranding 2 launches?
God.
Because what's up with that? I mean, I get it. I know he's your favorite dev and stuff, but like, do you really need to parade him out in front of the stage every time he's there?
He just be like, has to
Kojima is the god,
suck, man.
All about you, Kojima.
Okay, what they're not telling you is Keighley actually keeps Kojima in a box in his room, and feeds him and gives him water
on his back, and walks around with him all the time. Don't you like it? Does this remind you of something?
No, he puts him in a yellow container and he carries him around and he uses shit
in liquid in amniotic fluid.
Even the guys working on his team only are allowed to see him via video call.
Someday I'll let you out of this.
Let me guess. Keighley gonna make a surprise with a guest appearance in Death Stranding 2 as another digitized figure again. Perhaps
as a corpse, maybe.
Let's hope. We can only dream.
He'll be the giant baby in the fucking jar. That's what he'll be.
Well, if he comes as a corpse, I hope that future that he's predicting comes true, though. So,
well, Jesus. Anyway, the Game Awards are done. Thank the fuck, so we can move on from that. We'll see him again next year, of course, and it'll be another overhyped fucking shit show. But maybe there'll be some Xbox games actually nominated next year, but I won't put my hopes up for that because I'm pretty sure that if there's a Sony game going up against it, we know how that's going to go. So, yeah. But anyway, let's move right along. We got Ask Arnold, and then don't forget we've got Cranky Claus, Mr. AKA Santa. He's going to be here to, see who's naughty or nice. Most of the panel here, I think, fits on the naughty list. But let's do the Ask Arnold. We'll give the chance for the chat to get their questions ready. We're going to do a couple, and then we will move right along. Anybody got your questions ready? Fire away. Ask Arnold is in the building. Anybody?
Shooting blanks. Did you ever shoot any at your maid?
What?
Ever shoot any blanks at your maid, Arnold? Come on.
I've always been out there shooting blanks at the maid. I love the maid. I can't wait. I've had a lot of maids over the years. Some are great, some are not so great, but I'm always shooting something at the maid. As a matter of fact, if she opens her legs, I'm about to shoot an entire load at the maid. So let's go. Let's get it done. Get in the bedroom. Let's go. Do it. Your chat is awesome, by the way. So many weirdos in here. I love it. It's great.
Beautiful.
All right.
Hey, Arnold, now that Ms. Griner is back in stateside, what are you going to do?
I'm going to put it on the plane and I'm going to ship her away again. I don't want it. I don't need anybody. No, I want to get back into politics so I can set right on the wrongs that are going on in American politics right now. That is terrible. Everything is messed up. Okay? And I want to get it all straightened out before I die and I croak or have another heart attack. Yes, but for now I'm going to ride my bicycle and I'm going to get on that as soon as I end the show.
Well, we got a question for you from Boozy the Clown. He says, Arnold, cocaine or Pepsi?
Why not have both? Have you ever had some cocaine and then you sniff the Pepsi? It's great. Absolutely. You're going to get high as a kite and you'll be up all night is what you're going to do there.
Fizzy.
I want them both. I want fizzy and whizzy. So I'm going to have the cocaine and I'm going to have the Pepsi. That's what we're going to do there. Let's go. Let's do it. Go get yourself a bag. Get to your local 7-Eleven. It's heaven. Get the Pepsi and the cocaine. Fizzy and whizzy. That's what they call them here.
Didn't
Bubbly
know
or blow?
7-Eleven was selling the blow, man. Got to go a little more frequently, I guess.
Oh, we got one from Princess Zelda.
Oh,
You want to read it?
Arnie, my amazing and wonderful husband is turning 40 this year. What should I do to make his birthday memorable?
I'm going to tell you what to make his birthday memorable. Fucking delete Smite off his hard drive. He never shut up about it. I guarantee you, he will never forget it. So that's how you make it memorable. I never said the memory had to be a good one. It will be memorable. Title will curse you up and down. Every time he was on GAD, I don't think it was a show when he couldn't talk about smite this and smite that and smite my asshole. I don't know, but that's what you want to do. So delete that fucking piece of shit game off his hard drive. He's wasting too much of his life. Instead of being a god in the village, he should be a god between your legs.
Ooh, a challenge. The gauntlet has been thrown between the legs, it seems.
delete his
Eternal
account. That
Strive,
really
brother.
pissed him off.
Well, that
wanna take
definitely
one
got a good laugh out of Princess Zelda. I can see her really laughing hard at that one. She's probably like, that makes sense. That would be memorable. Maybe not the smartest thing to do, but memorable, yeah. Oh, man.
You want to take some more? Or you got two more?
We'll take another one.
Okay.
All right. Go for it.
Hey, Arnold, if you were Phil Spencer, how would you react?
Honestly, if I was Phil Spencer, honestly, I understand that he was trying to save face and he come out for the award show because he's the good guy. But honestly, I wouldn't have even showed up at all. I would have put a cardboard cutout there with a big fake-ass smile. And they said, you know what? Fuck you, Sony. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you guys have been playing around, you're dicking around with the multi-billion-dollar corporation. And we are going to next year when this shit clears, one way or the other, win, lose, or draw here with this deal. I was going to push your shit in so fucking hard next year. Honest to God, you're going to be picking peanuts from your teeth. That's what's going to happen. You don't fuck with the bear and not get the claws. And I'm telling you, right now, you're pissing off the bear. It's just like honey on his asshole. You don't want it there. He's going to scratch it off. You are a pimple on his ass, and it's going to get to you.
I love you,
There you
man.
There's the questions tomorrow tonight. Great questions, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that little visit. Speaking of visits, back-to-back attack. We've got Mr. Oh, look, here he is, and alive in the flesh. I think we better give him prime row seats up in here. What do you think, guys? I think he needs front row seats in this one. There we go. Hello, all the way from the North Pole, Mr. Asshole himself.
Can't hear you, asshole.
Yes, Santa, we got to get you a new mic for Christmas, bro.
That's because I was muted because, I was yelling at the elves to get their asses back to work,
Mrs. Claus do that to you again?
Mrs. Claus ain't doing shit to me.
Not even the genital cuffs? Come on.
No. She's come down with a case of the reindeer pox. We're trying to figure that out. So
I think you got the
Who do
answer.
you think she was sleeping with behind your back then?
yeah. She's sleeping with everybody behind my back.
Ruby Red fucking Rudolph.
That's
That
why the fucking elves
yeah.
are always happy.
Yeah. What do you assholes want? I'm busy.
Yes.
What?
Anybody in the chat, do you have a wish list or a question for Cranky Claus there? He's ready to answer your wishes and biggest desires.
Well, yeah, you may not like the answer though.
So I gotta ask, Mr. Claus.
What?
You know, you spent a lot of time in that stinky ass sleigh during the course of one night. I mean, what do you do for bathroom stops? I mean, do you just run into people's anonymous houses and take a
No,
shit
no,
in the
no.
toilets, or
No, no. As
piss
a
in
matter of
bottle, or
fact,
what?
no. As a matter of fact, no. Because of its location, Canada is my toilet. As we fly over and we make the rounds.
Got to
Is
dump
Wize Old
somewhere.
Gamer naked on the fucking video, or am I seeing things? See how
Well,
Yeah,
you have Cringy Claus, and my name is Boobsus. Like it's like Jesus, but Boobsus.
we just let
Boobsus
yeah,
for the rest of us.
basically I just let go over Canada at about 5,000 feet, and where it lands, it lands. You know.
Oh Lord, we're gonna get demonetized. Oh my Lord.
Oh dear God.
I heard
you.
Santa wants some milk and cookies. So
Hey Phasma, are you still here? Are you checking out the sexy action? Get the
This
sexy
is
time.
disgusting. This is gross. Okay.
Them cookies done spoiled that milk. Jesus.
Oh boy.
It's not
least
cool
you
that
know
you're taking away Santa's time with that shit. Okay. And
at least you know it's full buttermilk.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Ugh.
She's still here apparently for now.
No.
How much longer? We got a question coming in from your
milk
old
is
buddy.
that milk is soured. Okay. I'm just letting you know. Yeah.
Hey, Cranky Claus, how did you
So
let
you
one
have
of your
drunk
elves
it.
get away? It'll weigh at the end of the Game Awards. Lock him up. It'll
He
weigh
ain't
at
one
the
of
end
mine. No. Don't blame me on that shit. No, that kid hadn't been on my list for years. Yeah. Now I did see him. He tried to sneak up here one year while I was away to get with Mrs. Claus, but
Yeah.
no, ain't happening.
We-
If he
we
shows
know
up
that-
here again,
we
I've got
know-
that heat miser guy is gonna light his ass on fire. That's all I gotta say. We've got a deal going.
Speaking of Sir X-Men, we know he's been a pain in Cerebral Paul's ass for most of the years. So what's Santa given for Sir X-Men for Christmas?
A comb. We're gonna give it.
A comb. Have fun with that one, Sir X-Men.
Gotta have some for the pubes, you know.
Helps a little bit.
Oh, we got a question here from Eternal Should Die. Cranky Claus, I wish for Christopher Judge to stop any form of speech at any award. Will you do that for me? I guess he's asking you to stop Christopher Judge from having another speech. It sounds
It's
like.
hard. I can't get a word in edgewise with that guy. He just. You should see he sends me this Christmas video. I get it in October. It's still playing in the background. And he only wants like one thing, but it takes him forever to get there. Yeah, and so I got the elves monitoring to see when he actually gets to the item that he wants. So I'll let you know. Yeah. Well,
I got a question. I
Colonel.
got
He
a
looks like
question.
Colonel Sanders.
It's cold up in the North
If he was
Pole.
still alive.
It's cold in the North Pole. Cranky Claus, do you ever get your tongue stuck to the pole?
Which
no.
pole? Sorry.
No. I don't get my tongue stuck to the pole, but you might this Christmas. Keep it up. Yeah, you may wake up with a candy cane sticking out of your mouth. Yeah.
Only my mouth.
Santa's
That's not,
candy cane.
Oh, Supersonic
disappointment.
Station's in the building. He says, "Hi, Santa." What are you getting for Supersonic Station? You always got to get him something weird.
Everything I get him is weird. Let's see. What will I give Supersonic Station? I don't know. I'm not sure.
An
You know,
enema.
he has everything he wants. So
I heard he asked for an Undertaker dildo. Is that true?
Oh,
no, he asked for a colostomy.
now does he
bag.
want the actual dildo that an Undertaker uses on
It
the
comes with the
corpses,
slogan,
or-
"Where do you want to bury
Yeah.
it?"
Yeah. I mean, there's so many choices there. I can give him,
Oh.
Sony dildo dicks.
Dildo
Oh,
sticks.
dildo sticks. So
those are like 10 to a pack because they're really small. They're they're. So
Hey, what are you gonna get Salty for Christmas? Salty Gaming in the chat. What's going on, brother Salt?
Salty's actually been kind of a good boy this year, so we may let up on Salty a little bit. This time I won't light the coal on fire before I drop it in his house.
I take offense to this whole act because I think Paul is ill qualified to play as Santa. At least Santa comes once a
Who's
year.
Paul? What are you talking about? This is Santa here. What the
Yeah, I
fuck
don't
are
know
you
what the hell
talking
you're
about?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell
Jesus.
you're
What I'm
talking
saying is at least Santa comes once a year. So
Yeah, I knew. Yeah. More than you do. More than you do. So you know.
Well, we
I
got
mean-
we got a vaping naked man down here. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Everybody up here can't see what's going on, but
Yeah.
he's gonna get a solo layout here.
Oh come
Lord.
on.
Okay, you want me to
Tunnel
go
vision.
low?
I think that's Santa Claus.
How low can you
No,
go?
that's,
How low can you
Oh, we saw a nip slip.
It's
This show
like-
is definitely in the
Like
toilet
Gabriel
podcast.
Iglesias' uglier brother or something going on over there.
Keep them aerialist to yourself, buddy.
Oh, look, you just lost Phasma.
You know, Gabriel.
Fucking out. Fucking out.
By the way, Phasma's our guest
You know-
on next week's show. Phasma, you have a chance
Oh.
to change your mind.
Don't
So-
do it. You gotta show up. Come on.
So
you
Gabriel's
do
name
it?
is Gabriel calls himself Fluffy, so we're just gonna call you Lumpy, okay? Yeah.
Actually, wait a
Oh,
minute.
it's
It
gross.
is kind of lumpy. Oh well, you're
Yeah.
right. I should be lumpy.
Yo,
thought that
Phasma,
was just-
since you're in the chat, do you have a question for Santa? What would you like for Santa for Christmas, Phasma? Maybe you can put
And
that in the
Phasma,
chat.
you can come sit on my lap anytime you want. Christmas.
And nothing's gonna happen ever.
The same shit, different pile. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Claus. I know time is getting very short for you. Perhaps you'll make one more visit, perhaps next week. Not sure. It's up to
Yeah.
you.
I plan on it. We'll see what happens. You know,
Okay.
we've had a little bit of a mishap here at the poll. One of the elves fell into the works and gummed it up. So some of the toys might have a little bit of blood on them. Okay, it was an accident. It wasn't on purpose, or at least that's what I'm telling the police. Anyway, so yeah, we're good though. We should be good and up and running at 100% next week though.
Child labor laws are hell, aren't they?
They aren't children. These elves are like hundreds of years old. Okay, I
Sure.
mean,
Even though they look like children, and I treat them like children.
yeah, they look like children, and yeah.
Many
Actually,
ways.
that would be funny. Wise, you should have an elf suit on next week.
I'm doing it. Fine.
Christ almighty.
Doesn't he remind you of like one of the little elves from
Willy
what's
Wonka,
it?
maybe?
Willy Wonka or something? The little-
You mean
The Oompa
the Oompa
Loompas.
Loompa? The
That's-
Oompa Loompa.
That's what
yeah.
I was making me think.
Yeah. That's an Oompa Loompa.
Hey. Yeah.
And guys, yes,
Yeah.
this show is gonna. Now I know why my viewership has gone to complete shit. All kidding aside, we're having a lot of fun, as you can tell. So, thank you for your time there, Mr. Cranky Claus.
Yeah, no problem. I'll be back next week, and I might be doing it from remote. I might be, busy, shall we say? But we'll see. We'll find out. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, thank you for your time. It's greatly appreciated, and you can go ahead and put your shirt back on now, Wise.
Hey, Cranky, hope that Viagra kicks in soon, buddy.
Oh man. So there was a little bit of an article. I just saw this earlier today. And this one comes in. It was shared by comicbook.com, and it said that Fable report confirms concerns of Xbox fans that there's some development issues, and it says Xbox fans have been growing steadily concerned about the new Fable game for a variety of reasons. Obviously, because there's been a lack of like anything being shown, kind of a long silence. They're basically saying that according to the report, the game has been struggling with development partially due to internal politics over the game engine use. In other words, developers on the game are struggling with using Microsoft's internal tools, and rather than let them use third-party tools, Microsoft is doubling down. Do you think there's any sort of truth to this? I mean, we know that obviously Halo's own Halo Studio 343 struggled with the Slipspace engine. So do you guys think there might be any truth to this with Halo? And should they be given free roam to use whatever engine they want?
I would say, yeah.
Well,
they should be able to use what they want.
Well, should they be
Go ahead.
allowed to? Yeah, but the problem is that they have to pay like some sort of licensing fee, even if it's Unreal 5, right?
Right.
So, and to be honest with you, that was the problem with EA. EA was forcing everybody to use the Frostbite engine when the Frostbite engine did not sort of play fair with some of the game types that some of the developers were making. So if this is true, which is questionable if it is, but if it is true, then that's a bad precedent of Microsoft. I thought Microsoft said that they're very hands off and they're letting the developers do what they want to do and blah, 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 yakety smackety. And, it seems like they're saying one thing, but if this is true, they're doing another. And this doesn't look like a hands off approach to me if you're forcing your developers to use an in-house engine, right? So,
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, to answer that question really quick, yes, I have quite often. Yeah, more than you know. Okay.
Oh, come, all ye faithful.
That's right. And Cranky Claus is very faithful. Yes.
I mean, you'd think as well. I mean, obviously they would have started the initial production on this probably before even all the Bethesda stuff took place. But you would also think that a game like Fable would almost be a natural with an engine that like Skyrim or something was built on. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. The engine choice is made pretty early on, in once they know what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem they might be running into is the engine isn't doing some of the things they would like it to do, which is kind of, I think, what Halo ran into.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, Halo's excuse was it was a brand new engine, which is true. Slipstream was built for them, and so the people working on it didn't necessarily know what it could and couldn't do and stuff. There was a learning curve there. I think it's like other things where you don't, like, if you're a football coach, you don't build your team around your playbook. You build your playbook around your team. You work with what you have. And I think they're running into, well, we want it to be able to do this. Oh, crap, it won't do this well. Well, then they need to adjust for that. And I think that may be what's taking time, or they're still trying to fight. They're still trying to push stuff through that just isn't going to work. Mm-hmm. They need to know the limitations. And a lot of that comes down to the experience of the people working with the engines, too.
Right.
So,
but isn't anyone getting tired of this shit, though? I mean, like, let's be honest here, okay? We hear about Fable now having problems. We have heard about Perfect Dark having problems. We heard about Everwild. We still don't know what the hell that game is, and apparently nobody else does either, for that matter. It's like, instead of getting game announcements, we're getting excuses as to why certain games might be further delayed.
Well, no, here's the thing. It's part of that is on the player base, because we want something new, we want something better, we want something different, and so the publishers are trying to give us that, the developers are trying to give us that, but in doing so, they're pushing the envelope. In some cases, they're breaking the envelope, and they're it's a catch-22, because if they stay working with what they know, then we get bored. We go, oh, this is just more of the same, So I don't blame that all on them. They're trying to give us greater game experiences, but they have to know when to go, you know what, this isn't going to work. Then they have to, because the problem is a lot of what they do is made so public, or they make these grand gesture announcements to say what the game is going to do. Then when it can't, they get jumped on because you said it was going to do this. I mean, we've seen that happen time and again, and so I think they might even miss in the older days. We didn't, back in the old cartridge days, we didn't know what GoldenEye was going to look like, or what it was going to be capable of. We didn't know what any of these games were going to try to do until we saw them, and our jaws dropped and went, wow, this is cool. Now we kind of tend to know, well, we're going to have it do this, we're going to have it do this, and here's a little sneak peek, and those sneak peeks are often years, early engine takes, and then they realize that, yeah, that's not going to work.
But do you think that the same problems are rampant in the other camp as well, and we just don't know about it, or do you think that it's a little bit better smooth sailing there?
Well, the other camp, a lot of their stuff is, I hate to say it, it's cookie cutter. They, and people are going to yell at me for that. Yeah, but I'm enjoying some of those cookie cutter games, so I can't complain too much.
Send all comments to @Cerebral Paul.
Yeah. But I mean, when's the last time they really tried to push the envelope? I mean, that's all I got to say there.
Well, they're certainly lacking, definitely in the variety department. Like I said, a lot of it's the same formula.
And a lot of them use and a lot of them use the same engines and stuff.
What's the Marvel problem? It's like Marvel Studios. It's like keep chomping out and doing the same thing over again because you're successful.
Because it makes money. It makes it safe and it makes money.
But Fable is supposed to be a third-person, over-the-shoulder action RPG. The recipe's already there because that's what Sony's wheelhouse is.
But we don't know what they're running into as far as some of the functionality within that game that they're trying to do. You know, is it we don't know enough. We don't know, is it a graphics issue? Is it a functionality issue? We don't know where they're having a problem or why. We just know, apparently, according to this article, they're admitting that we're having some issues.
Well, according to some in quotes, and it doesn't specify that either. And I take all that with a grain of salt until you hear something. I could believe
all of that with.
Oh yeah, I could believe there's possibly something going on in the background, but I mean,
because a lot of that stuff always just drags out the console lawyers, you know.
Well, take anything and they'll jump on it and latch on and go, look, see, and any side will take that and use it as against somebody. But I believe, they probably do have some issues, seeing that there could be some kind of politics about sticking with a certain engine and not focusing on Unreal or something. I don't know. But
they should be long past that at this point.
Oh, dude, that sounds silly. It's silly to me. You're talking Microsoft is this $1 trillion company. They're like, we got to stick with our engine. Are you serious?
Basically, once they have the idea and the storyboards and the basic layout for what they want to do, and basically even if the story's written, whatever, then the next thing, okay, what engine do we want to use? Okay, done. Because we have had some games switch engines mid-engine and go, okay, we're basically starting over. You know.
Oh well, but taking that. Yeah, go ahead.
But it's the constant news from this camp that is exhausting at best. I mean, it's always so-and-so developer in Microsoft's wheelhouse is having problems. So-and-so developers having a problem. So-and-so developers having a problem. It's like, okay, I'm getting fed up with this.
I don't put as much on a lot of that. And again, a lot of it's because so-and-so developer is, a lot of it, like this last time around, was because they were switching from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5 or Unreal 3 to Unreal 4 or whatever, and again, a lot of it comes down to, we can do this now, well, let's do this. So it slows things up. And it's not just a Microsoft studio thing, dude. A lot of the independent studios, the third-party studios, they get a lot of the same thing. They just don't get as much of the heat.
I just want to say that, okay, as much as we hate, think Kojima is full of himself, he was able to develop a development house and release not one, but now going on 2 games before any of Microsoft's developers has released one big one. And that's what sort of bothers me.
But again, okay, I really hate this narrative that they've owned this company for 3 years. We haven't seen anything. So what? Because with Kojima, a lot of those games he could have the idea for a lot of those games and a lot of the scripting for those games done in conjunction before he ever announced anything.
But he didn't have a development house. He didn't have anyone to develop anything with.
What's that?
He might have had the ideas, but he didn't have a developer. He was kicked to the curb by Konami, and he was pretty much on the streets.
That doesn't mean he wasn't working with people.
Well, and who did he assemble? Did he assemble people that he didn't know, or a bunch of people that he's worked with and was familiar with and were familiar with him? You don't have that answer either. That's another question. He could have assembled people he was very familiar with and who all were able to click together much quicker than the people that Microsoft is trying to put together and work, and also in the way they're trying to work too. Who knows?
Right.
I mean,
there's a lot that goes on that
there could be. Yeah.
Well, especially with Kojima, since he does all of his work over in like Japan and stuff. There's a lot we don't know about that goes on over there that we don't. We're not as privy as to that kind of news because they're not as
forthcoming. They're not as forthcoming. No, they keep everything very close, and that is that's a tighter community of developers for sure, in a lot more ways, and there's a different level of how they interact and work with each other.
His little developing house could have been working on both games simultaneously. Bob over here worked on this part. Okay, you're done with this. Come over here and work on this part for this game. Work on this.
Right.
And so, and there are different phases, which is, what a lot of these dev houses that have a lot of people should be doing is, well, and we do see some of that. We see, okay, people always freak out. Well, so and so is going to work with so and so. Well, maybe that's because their job over here is done. So Bethesda is going to lend them off over to this other studio to work on their
here's
thing.
my thing, right? Like, look at the pace in which Bethesda was pumping a lot of stuff out prior to getting bought by Microsoft, and all of a sudden, they've been virtually silent outside of the games we already knew about, with obviously Death Proof and what was the other one that they put out? You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. Like, I get what you're saying, and there's truth to that as well. But it's all about perception, right? Obviously, this is a perception that Wize has picked up from the show, and it's even something that I'm thinking. It's like, you got these guys in other studios pumping out something, at least giving you a teaser or a taste or something, and it feels like there's almost like nothing. Like some of these games now have got to be pretty damn close to finished.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah, when was Bethesda purchased though? There's another thought. Consider that they were purchased right in the middle of COVID. They were purchased right in the middle of COVID, though. So everybody
right at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody was basically spread completely thin and sent home to work completely separate from each other. So that's not any way that you want to have a team work together to build a game quickly in any way.
Yeah.
So that slows everything down to a grinding
and a
halt.
lot of people say, well, the other studios did it or whatever. You know what? Not every studio is the same. Not every worker has the equipment at home to be able to do it initially. A lot of that took time to set up too. Plus I know with Microsoft, they are still very much into security. They don't like to do a lot of stuff remote because, well, security.
Well, I certainly hope that this ABK thing wraps sooner than later. This thing needs to get fucking done. They gotta.
We know it's not going to wrap before springtime. We know it's not going to wrap before springtime.
But hopefully, it's mostly in the rearview mirror by the time E3 rolls around, because hopefully Microsoft will be at E3 this year in a big way, since they're having essentially a full show for the first time in a couple of years. I think they need maybe one of their biggest E3s ever. Personally,
I would think so.
Yeah, aren't you flying us out to
remember, Aaron said that hopefully they're coming with something soon. They're going to drop some information soon.
No, let's hope so. Like I said, 2023 is a year they either break this narrative and they kind of put a lot of naysayers and skeptics to bed, or they basically shit the bed and this shit only gets worse. So if you're going to change that narrative and change the perspective on not just how Xbox fans see the brand, but how competing fans also look at the brand, hopefully they can change that. I'm confident that they will. I mean, I'm an Xbox fan for a reason. I still stand by them, but it's getting old. We're getting tired of all the wait, the what ifs, the has-beens, all of these things. Now we need, like I said, proofs in the pudding. Put up or shut up. Give us something next year. Hopefully early, give us a taste of something, and by midsummer we start to see a good lump of something come together here. And like I said,
I think we're gonna start to see it by spring.
Yes, game engines don't always go good, but I mean, hey, when you got to fail safe, fall back on some of the engines that work. So at the end of the day, I mean, heck, what was wrong with the old Fable engines? Could they not pick up those and rework them again, whatever they were built on, unless they lost the rights to them or some fucking thing?
The old Fable engine was also pretty dated, actually. So I mean, like I said, it comes down to wanting to do bigger, better. It's not.
I'm always a glass half full type of guy. And in fact, if it's half full, I fill it up all the way with wine. But my point being, it's just 23 freaking studios, and you guys can't pump out a game. It's just frustrating.
But why? Why is it frustrating? Most of these 20 studios they picked up in the last 3 to 5 years, mostly 3, and you expect them to, okay, guys, crank out shit. Okay, no, we don't care. We just get some fast shit out there. No, we want these guys to crank out good quality games. And Phil said when COVID hit that COVID is going to set them back. They don't even think they're going to be back on track really until about 2025. As far as a fluid schedule goes. So So
Well, I can attest to-
I don't understand the mindset of why can't these games crank out in 3 years? It just doesn't happen. One of the big winners said they'd been working on a game for 7 years.
My
And
my only hope in all of this is the fact that they went up $10 on their fucking game. So if you went up $10 on your game, obviously you have a game to release. Otherwise, why would you go up on anything, right? So that is my only.
No, it's
it's
not $10 because it's only $10 for fuckers like me that refuse to get Game Pass.
Pay the premium, bitch. Pay it
I'm
now.
telling you, that's like today when I saw the price of fucking the High on Life. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like $80 like on the digital store Canadian. I'm like, what the fuck is up with this shit? I'm like, is this a way of kind of like, dude, you can play it for the 15, or we are going to rape your wallet if you stay with the physical, or just go the other route. I don't know. The hell.
You get a sexy wallet though.
Well, and that's what I said. And that's what a lot of it said, that $70 thing is. That I freely admit they're trying to drive people into Game Pass. I mean, it is what it is. Also, the fact that we can't sit here and say, well, everything else has gone up, but games need to stay the same. I think Lemon pointed out on his show, the games have been $60 for almost 20 years. So for them to finally raise the prices, now people are up in arms. Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed the prices stayed down for as long as they did.
Well, game prices should be a bit mute too, because seriously, if you're willing to at least wait a little bit, I mean, most of these games, they go down shortly after release. Like we saw how some games just came out, and then by Black Friday they went down to nearly half price, and they'll probably go down again shortly in the new year. I guess unless you're like a FOMO person, like most of these games, you can pick them up for a decent price at some point.
Yeah.
Right. The only games that I think that if I'm really interested in that is FOMO day one is the multiplayer stuff, because if you hold off on buying the multiplayer stuff, by the time you get it, all your friends are gone. It's like, okay. Hey, I got that new game. You guys want? No, we haven't been playing that for 2 weeks now. We're on to this.
Yeah, exactly.
Son of a bitch. Well, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Unless it's Call of Duty, then it's for years.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anyway, let's hope that everything comes together for Fable, because it is literally one of the biggest, and certainly one of the games I'm most hyped about in the Xbox portfolio. No one who's behind it, obviously, with Playground Games, has me doubly excited, because I think they do have the pedigree to bring out a fantastic product. We know they know how to make a beautiful and open world engine, but maybe there's issues with combat mechanics or something along that lines. But anyway, I'm pretty sure with all the talent that Microsoft has now under a corporate roof, they will get the job done, and it should be a fantastic game, hopefully. So I think the only way you can screw up Fable, honestly, is if you just have a really bad story, or you try to make it too much of something it's not. Like, don't stray away from the formula too much. Try to retain what people love, and that's the fantastic humor, the stylized graphics. That's what people love about Fable. So don't turn Fable into fucking Assassin's Creed and all that shit or anything else, and don't start going with fucking stamina meters and breaking weapons, aka Breath of the Wild, or I'll chuck that shit in the garbage. Do your own thing. Be your own.
Well, you
game.
won't chuck that shit in the garbage because you're going to pay full price for that bitch. So
That's true. I will trade it in. Absolutely. I use it as a beer coaster. So yeah. But anyway, you guys want to move the needle, move along, or you have any further thoughts on this?
We can move.
We can move. All right.
Move it.
Well,
I'd like to move it.
I saw one game delayed today, which was interesting. It looks like Harry Potter, the new Harry Potter game, has been delayed at least on the old gen systems, being PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch.
In other words, we don't care. In other words, we don't care.
And I really don't care too much because I'm going to buy the current gen version anyway. But I guess at the same time, my question around this revolves, and this goes for a lot of things. We see this a lot with multiplats, and a lot of multiplats over the course of the last while have notorious bug issues. We saw it with Cyberpunk. We saw it with a lot of things. So my question to you guys is, and this is where I'm leading this, while we don't care about Harry Potter being delayed on the older systems, because most of us want to play it on the current gen, my question is for you, do you think this is an ongoing problem, and perhaps it's been there for years, but is it an ongoing problem where now like a dev is too small or it bites off more than it can chew? It's trying to make too many builds for too many different spec criterion. It's always kind of been a problem, but how much do you think it is? How do you think they remedy it? Maybe how does it go away? Do you just start sticking to one or two? I don't know. Maybe Paul, you want to start off on this one.
I think in this case it may have been they were speccing it for on paper for both, but by the time they built it up, they ran it on the SDK for the Series X. Everything's great. They put it on the One X and they go, oh shit, this part doesn't work. This part doesn't work, and it could just be a matter of frame rate issues. We don't know, but I think this is. Everybody says, well, we want to see next gen games. We want to see this. We want to see that. Now you are going to run into the generation disparity. Because the machines are, no matter what anybody says, even the Series S is noticeably more powerful than the One X. Okay, and no matter what the talking heads say and the console players.
Oh yeah, and but the biggest problem is it goes deeper than that. You got to consider it's not the One X. It's a bottleneck. I'm not saying it's not. Definitely a bottleneck. But it's the original OG Xbox and PS4. Those are the big fucking bottlenecks.
Right.
And the PS4 specifically, because Sony was, until they started getting PS5s really pushing out in the market more, they were doubling and tripling down. PS4
are still
kick them out.
PS4s.
So now they've backed themselves, painted into a corner a little bit in this way, because now they focus so much on PS4 it's still being and now they're like oh shit it was inevitable.
They continued to grow their PS4 population when they probably should have said, look, they should have said what Microsoft said and said, you know what, it's going to be out there when it's out there. It's. But
I thought they believe in generations, though. I thought they believe.
But I don't give a shit about all that. But he's right.
Well, they believe in money.
Hardware wise, they've kind of painted themselves into a corner because they continue to grow an audience that they don't plan on supporting over the next 5 years. Well, at least I should say they didn't plan on supporting over the next 5 years.
Well, they didn't. No.
Yeah. Now they're kind of having to backpedal on all of that because of the fact that that audience has continued to grow when the PS5 has been limited.
But those consoles, the original Xbox and the original PS4, they were built on those Jaguar CPU engines. And even when they first came out, the PS4 and the Xbox One were woefully underpowered compared to what you could have gotten, around in the PC around that time.
Well, yeah.
So now
that's okay. That's another thing. Because remember, I'm a PC guy and a console guy. This is this generation, the current generation, is the closest we've ever been between what a console can do and what a PC can do.
Yes.
Okay. So most of the time, what happened with the Jaguar, that was common back then. That computers were always the better machine if you could afford them, and it's still an if you can afford them thing, because you can't build a $500 computer and expect it to run like a One X or a PS5. Oh. And it ain't gonna happen. Okay.
But see, therein lies the problem. They're developing for games that have to run on this CPU as well as those anemic Jaguar cores, and of course you're gonna get problems.
That's why that comes into they're trying to do more, bigger, better, and use the abilities that they have now. And this is what we knew this day was gonna come.
It was inevitable. This is coming down the road.
Some developers have already said we're not gonna. They've started to work on the older system stuff and said, you know what? We ain't releasing this shit. Just forget it. And that may be what Harry Potter or what Hogwarts comes down to. After a while, even though they say they still plan to release it 6 months later or whatever it is, they still may come down and say, you know what? No, we're not happy with this. I'm sorry, guys. We just can't do this on the older console.
I think some people might have forgotten, and I'm just bringing this. So this is kind of a side note. Was bringing up old systems and the PS4 and the graphics and how things were built and the PC at the time. Even PCs were amazing still compared to those consoles, definitely. But one thing I was reminded of just thinking of it was playing games like Watch Dogs. When Watch Dogs came out, and there was a big controversy on that, if you remember. And the big controversy around it was they showed this amazing, well, at the time, impressive looking graphical engine and go, wow, this is really incredible. Look at this. Look what they're doing. And when the game came out on PC, everybody noticed it was like, wait a minute, the difference between the PC version of the game and the PS4 version, which was better than the Xbox version, were negligible. People were like, wait a minute, why does it look like the PS4 version? And over time, people kind of came to this understanding. They realized when they looked into the source code that the high def pack for PC was hidden in the PC build. People had to go find it and put it in. And they questioned, well, why would they do that? And it was parity. There was something somebody said, and it was never really proven per se, but that was, in my opinion, many people's opinion, evidence that Sony was involved heavily in trying to keep parity with the PCs just to make people go, oh my God, PS4 is as good as a PC. And
it was talk about planned obsolescence.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about false parity. They talked. I don't, like I said, don't have any proof, but it seemed pretty clear that somebody within Ubisoft agreed to allow the game to be released on PC looking very similar to a PS4 build of the game, and the high def texture packs were hidden within the source code that somebody eventually cracked, opened up, and then put in the game, and it looked like the demo and like a PC could run. It ran just fine, and people were like, what the hell is that? And everybody asked, why would you do that? And again, it was, like I said, I just bring up a Sony issue that still bothers me today.
Yeah, and hey, you know, given what we found out, Sony could have paid them to hide those packs.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
You know,
like I said, back in the day,
there was no proof.
Yeah, there's no proof.
I'm not saying they did or anything.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just saying
I know.
that
I felt the same way.
I mean, what I really dislike about this whole situation was what people were talking about when the generation was first launched, that hey, yeah, all this stuff can be pared down. You could develop for the higher end console and then just take away some frame rates, take away some HDR effects and resolution, and it will run just fine. That was fucking bullshit. That was a lie.
Well, to a point, because I mean that's kind of how they've managed to keep what's it called, Cyberpunk running on the older consoles. Is if you look at the difference, the cities are less populated on the older consoles and things like that. So they do pair. They can, at least in the early days of this generation, they could do that. We're getting to the point in this generation now where they not only can, they could still do that, but they don't want to.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't
just like with every
480.
generational switch, there has to come a point where you go, you know what, forget it. We got to leave that shit behind. You know.
They used to be more cutthroat back in the day. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame the developer, the publisher, for sort of forcing the developer to develop for the lower end consoles. Because think about it, you got about 20 million.
It has to do. Yeah, it's pure numbers.
It's numbers. Right? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when Sony doubles down and says we're just going to keep building PS4s.
Why I said so, and that's why Darth said, and I agree with it, that Sony kind of has painted themselves into a corner by continuing to produce the PS4 and push the sales of the PS4.
So what you're saying is the PS4 is holding games back?
Yes.
Well, on sheer numbers. On sheer numbers.
Now, yes.
Yeah,
yes, because it's so obsolete compared to what we have now. Yes.
And it's funny because, you know, when you look at it, like a lot of studios are always trying to put the game out for like the Xbox One copy or the PlayStation, but you don't see them trying to put a game on the Switch anymore. Like very few studios will attempt it because they know like it's hard enough to get them on the PS4 or the Xbox, but to try to get like these games on the Switch, it's like this is going to be painful.
The best. You should have watched
some of these really big games. Some of these really big games look like absolute shit on the Switch.
Well, the best of all was Witcher 3. Witcher 3 actually was amazing what they were able to do, but they took a massive amount of time, and it was a team who was dedicated to do it. So it's a rarity and it's difficult. Very difficult.
Again, like detail definitely like takes a major backseat. You know, so the characters look pretty good in the horse, but if you got to look at everything else, you got to look at frame rate. And
it's low res and frame rate. Oh god, yeah.
You know,
and draw distances. Everything's
job
reduced.
done if it's your only version, or you just want to play it portable. Like that's the consensus with Switch. You make concessions. Like I bought certain games on the Switch because like I bought like the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. I'm sure they probably play better and look better even on the Xbox, right, and or PlayStation. But I bought it for the Switch because I wanted to have GTA on the go. I wanted the portable option.
Well, not much better.
No, because those games were built on very, very archaic hardware, so those work okay
Yeah.
on the Switch, right?
Well, they were literally built on the portable like the mobile
Try to get
engines.
GTA 5 to work on the Switch. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was built for the 360, so I think it was on the 360. It was released, so it would run on the Switch. Actually, it would run well.
Yeah, if The Witcher runs, I guess you could get GTA.
Oh yeah, but it would be it'd be the 360 version of the game, is what it would be. But yeah, it would run.
Well, it's kind of the funny thing is when they announced the delay for the PS4 and the Xbox One, and they also announced the delay for the Switch. I don't know if y'all heard, but the Switch version is being delayed until June of next year.
Yeah.
And these Switch YouTubers, they were up in freaking arms. They were like, how dare you? It would have done better on Switch. It's our demographic of blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but your goddamn console runs on a fucking potato, like, geez,
Well, to be fair, because of the numbers of the Switches out there, it is a weird decision to push that one the farthest back. Just on sheer numbers, there's a lot of Switches out there.
That's the hardest one to port, though.
Yeah.
But if it can't run, it can't run. I mean,
no, but if they plan on getting it to run, I mean, I could see where some of those people are coming from. That it should be a higher priority if you just want to look.
I heard they're going to get it to work, but it's going to look like the Lego Harry Potter game. They just recreated all the scenes, with the Lego graphics.
I just think the games are getting are just more complicated by several orders of magnitudes than they were back even when
they are
we were doing PS2 and stuff. So there's so many variables.
That's what players want. I mean,
resolution, frame rate, and ray tracing will eat everything alive. It'll eat every bit of processing power.
I gotta say, I never thought that much of ray tracing. I thought that a big deal until I played Miles Morales. Wow, is ray tracing a really cool thing? You know?
But don't forget, now they have to do that too. Now they have to not only develop a resolution version, but they also have to develop a performance version as well. So
PCs, that's not different development. That's just
PCs have been doing that since the inception of games on PC.
PCs have been doing that forever. Yeah.
And I was going to say that's another thing is we could keep going on and on about it, but the other thing is look at like what is it, portable PC, Steam Deck. Steam Deck takes a serious hit for games in frame rate and resolution too to do it. So I mean, in essence, it struggles. I mean, it's an amazing system. I'm not saying it's not, but compared to a PC that's running a game that you're normally used to seeing, or even in Series X or a PS5, you're going to take a big hit on a game to play it on like Steam Deck. It's not going to be the same unless it's streaming. I think unless you can. I don't even know. It streams on Steam Deck as well, or is it all just loaded games?
From what I know, it's all loaded. From all the games that I have, it's all loaded games.
It's all loaded games. Okay, there's no stream.
No stream in Steam Deck.
Yeah, but it's a lower spec system, and they have to reduce it to make it work. Right? You're running like 1080p resolutions on it, basically.
Well, that is a sacrifice you're going to make when you're going to do portability, right?
Of course, but you're going to do that with the Switch too. But I'm saying the Steam Deck does take a hit as well. It's not just like, you can make every game work. They scale it down to make it work on the Steam Deck. So, just saying.
But the Steam Deck still has like what 2 teraflops or some crap like that, whatever the weird archaic metric is. The problem with the Switch is that the fact that the company Nintendo, their business model is so antiquated. They're going to milk that console until they can't milk it anymore before they release a new one. And they know their own games don't run well on their.
Well, the Wii fucked them up mentally as far as from their focus completely. They were like, "Oh my god, it made so much money. We sold 100 million consoles. It's incredible. We can get the casual crowd in." It was like before mobile phone games really took off. I mean, it just took that market by stormed it, and they went yes, and they changed their market plan from what they did years before with the N64 and the GameCube, which were actually competitive systems with their competitors, the PlayStation and the Saturn and the Dreamcast. They actually competed, but then after that they went, fuck it, we don't need to do that, and then they just went low end so they could put their gimmick in it, unfortunately, and that's what they did.
Well, I mean, isn't the Switch technically a gimmick as well? Like
It
that's what
is. It is,
Nintendo.
but it also there was a processor that they could have used that was twice as powerful as the one they put in it, but it would make the system more expensive, and they didn't want that because the stigma of releasing a system for $500 or $450 stopped them. They went, "Oh fuck." And or even worse, they would lose a lot of money on it instead of them always being focused on trying to either break even or make a small profit, and that's what drove them to make it as cheaply as they did. Sadly.
That and Nvidia, from what I've heard through the grapevine, are assholes to work with. They don't not do like AMD where they'll make a custom chip just for you. They're gonna tell you, okay,
Right.
these are the chips that we have. You
Well,
choose. from
Nvidia
there,
has
right?
their own problems now.
That's,
So
that's a great question
Yeah.
I got for you guys. So
What's
we
that?
know that a successor to the Switch, I mean, should be coming pretty soon. You know, it's getting a little bit long in the tooth, and if for Nintendo to move forward, and certainly for publishers to want to invest more money to put games on it, they obviously need something that can stand a little bit more toe to toe with current stuff. Especially when you see stuff out there like Steam Deck and a few of these new portables coming to light.
Yeah.
The heat's on Nintendo a little bit because their market share will slip in certain ways. Maybe not a ton because again, it's their software that largely saves their bacon. If it wasn't for Nintendo's incredible portfolio, first party software, the Switch wouldn't even be a talking point, to be quite honest. And you guys know that, and I know it. But if they're going to make a new one, how do you think to proceed with it? Because obviously one of the biggest questions with the Switch when it came out, some people love it, some people don't. I obviously love it, but was the little SD card, aka / cartridge format. Do you think Nintendo goes back to that, or do you think they will try a different medium, or perhaps it'll be all digital only? I don't know. What do you think Nintendo does on their next foray into the Switch market? Because I'm pretty sure they'll make another virtually identical version.
They sort of have to. Like, I mean, let's put it this way. If they go to another medium, that means that console is not going to be backwards compatible unless they're just going to put two separate drives in there. And that would just be suicide right now, because as much as the Switch has been selling and all the games that they've sold, the umpteen 30 million plus games, they're sort of they also painted themselves in a corner. They sort of have to release something that sort of at least is backwards compatible that plays with these cartridges.
Well, you think that, but Nintendo might not.
Well, and I seem to recall they announced a few months ago that they're actually not planning on releasing anything new in the near future as far as hardware goes. They said not
this. No. They said not this
generation,
fiscal year.
Right?
No, not this fiscal year. That means
I think honestly, and I've said it before, I think they were waiting to see what happened with the Steam Deck, because now they have a competitor that's actually in their market. So now they're probably having to scramble. To me, they're a lot like Sony in that way. That they're very reactionary. They were very happy to sit on their haunches and just kind of ride it out because they were the top dog. Well, now with all the portability coming into play, they're actually they're going to start to have some competition. So how do they get around that? And you bring up an interesting point. Do they go back to cartridge loaded? With the relatively cheap cost of chips and stuff, theoretically they could go back to cartridge for the newer stuff. Shit, buy a cartridge for the newest version of this. You're not going to get any patches or anything. So maybe they'll have to go back to it works from day one, which could slow down some development. But the way they make it backwards compatible is they make the new one so it will take the new cartridges, but it will also play the old games. And it wouldn't be the first time that kind of thing's been kind of messed with a little bit too.
Mess with a little bit. Good grief, they've done more backward compatibility than most systems, really.
But I'm saying just the ability to either do. I mean, if you really want to go way back, the Commodore 64 had cartridges that a lot of people forget about. It was both a cartridge and a computer thing.
Well, remember, Nintendo systems actually had adapters for Game Boy cartridges.
Yeah.
I mean, they were able to adapt all kind of crazy things.
Yep.
But I don't think they're afraid to step away from the Switch. The Switch has sold so much, and they have so many variants.
The next thing they step into, oh, your girlfriend's back again. Somebody want to delete those?
I thought I did already.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, maybe you did. It just shows up maybe it just doesn't go away in our party chat. Yeah. But
she's just upset I didn't pay her.
I just, it's going to be interesting because I've said all along, and everybody said, no, you're full of shit. You don't understand. They have so many fans, such big market share. If they get a true competitor, that will play current games as well as older games or whatever, they will start to have to fight for their place, and they will have to adjust to the new market.
Well, they have a decision to make because the Wii U was essentially a test market for the Switch because it was what I thought the Switch is what I thought the Wii U should have been. I was like, well, that would be amazing if it was this, but it became
the Wii U kind of flopped too.
Well, the Wii U kind of flopped because it wasn't the Switch. That was the problem. It was still tethered. It was a disc-based system that you had to have the gamepad, and you had to use the gamepad to interface things. It was clunky, and it forced you into things that you shouldn't be able to do. Where the Switch opened it up and made it completely free.
And truth be told,
that and then the marketing was really bad because of the fact that it was Wii U and people didn't realize it was a brand new console. I heard parents even say that this is like they couldn't figure out what they were supposed to be buying because it was just like, okay, what is
it? By the Wii or the Wii U? I mean, which one's better? Yeah, they didn't know.
And of course, when you see things like the Game Boys, right? The Game Boys and the 3DSs where they were essentially the same thing, but they had a new improvement. I think that was like parents are like, why am I going to spend all this money on essentially this is just another Wii U with a handheld controller with a screen in it, right? I mean, it was a much, much better system, but its fate was on the wall. The terrible marketing by Nintendo and just...
Oh, it was a horrible decision. It was a horrible decision for them to do.
At least if they called it something new, people would have bought into it. But sort of that same name, that was their first big mistake with that one.
It was it was a big mistake. Nintendo, and the system even looked similar. Yeah.
Nintendo ever since the GameCube, after the GameCube generation, has been the console maker without a console. And what I mean by that is, like, you look at PlayStation and Xbox, they're pretty much at parity in the sense that they know where their niche is in the gaming community. They make these consoles that are uber powerful. They sit there, TV, set top boxes that, you connect to your TV and you connect to a power cord and you play, right? So Nintendo didn't want to be the third wheel in this, and quite literally was. And they're like, well, wait a minute, we got to compete with Xbox and PlayStation, and do we really want to go down this road? And with the Wii, they had a success. They had an underpowered console with a gimmick that did very freaking well, And the problem was, how do you up this? How do you go from 120 million unit seller to the next iteration of that? Well, they knew that this thing was, this whole, hand gesture gaming stuff was just that. So what do you do next? Well, hey, guess what we have? We have the 3DS and the DS, and that seems to do really well. People like having the dual screen, so maybe we can make a dual screen home console, and that was a Wii U basically. But it didn't work well because nobody wants to keep going back and forth. They want to look at either the TV or the screen below them. So but I think with the Switch, Nintendo has finally come to a form factor for a console that can work. All they really need to do is they just need to up the ante. And in fact, they don't even have to do a hard and fast reset of a generation. They don't have to do, a stopgap like, from PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. They can just do like iterative consoles, kind of like basically the cell phone model, just every few years release a little bit more powerful iteration because the device is pretty sound.
I think they could do that, and I think probably I would say within a year and a half they're going to have to come out with something. I think that's the main thing, and I think they've been talking about it for several years now that they are working on a successor to it, but they've been very quiet, and everybody keeps hearing them say one thing. And if you remember in the past, Nintendo has said, "Oh, we're not doing this." A few months later, they're full of shit. They were fucking doing that, and they just told you one thing, and because they didn't want to tell you the truth. And so I wouldn't be surprised at all. But the other thing is, they could make, I think they're going to have to focus on something that ties it all together, that does have backward compatibility with the cartridges. But I think because of memory and memory going down in price as much as it does and as quickly as it does over time, Moore's Law and how things work in technology, I think they're going to have, some kind of faster memory internally built in that's a larger capacity to be able to do downloaded games for the newer games. It might even work like a Series X and a Series S, where the internally downloaded games work faster and the cartridge ones are your backward compatible ones that can upscale to whatever resolution it runs at. So I think that's quite possible, but it all depends. Like, it does depend on if they get stuck again on this blue ocean fucking theory bullshit that they did with the Wii that was successful when they were looking at it, even though it used the same processor that was in the GameCube. People wonder why the GameCube games ran on it well, because it's a fucking GameCube.
Right.
And for that matter, that processor was iterated into the Wii U. So it was a GameCube game. The GameCube had 3 generations, literally. People don't realize that. It was basically the same processor. So, but again, they need to go back to some roots of going, well, maybe we need to up it, and they're going to have to keep the third parties in line, to have them come to them and say, we want to continue making games for you. They're going to struggle if they don't, and I think they understand that. But the question is whether they're going to be stubborn enough and sit and, well, we'll just wait a couple more years. Fuck it. The Switch will keep making money. We don't care. Or whether they're going to go, well, we do have to bring something out finally. And I think that may be money on sales dropping eventually when they start seeing that. I think you're going to see them go, shit, yeah, we got a new one. Here it is.
Well, they can't deny the success the Wii had. I mean, the Switch had, and they know the CEO, the new Furukawa, I think is his name, knows why the Switch is as popular it was. It's not because just of Nintendo games. Yeah, that was the one that would drive it home. But what would set it over the top were all of these other third parties that up to now avoided Nintendo like the plague. All of a sudden making games for Nintendo. And Nintendo saw that's what really pushed them over the edge. Yeah, their first party output was good, but it was also the support of the third party that helped.
Yeah.
But the problem they have now is this: Nintendo never believes in taking a loss for their console. Like with the Xbox, they take a loss. With the PlayStation, they take a loss. Nintendo doesn't believe that, so they're going to go in and they're going to find the cheapest chip possible that will do the bare minimum of what they need to do, and release it. Well, at least that was their former model. But in order to cater to all these third-party developers, they're going to have to sort of change the way they look at the console.
Yeah, and like that was essentially the infection that happened to them with the Wii. They were infected with this success of 100 million consoles sold that they spent nothing on. They made enormous amounts of money on that system, and they thought, "Oh man, we'll just keep doing that." And now it's affecting their better judgment, I would say. Whereas like the N64 and the GameCube at the time of their release were pushing a little bit further toward the edge of actually competing with the consoles. They were competing with PlayStation. You could see games on PlayStation and N64. You could see ones that look good on one versus the other. The PlayStation still generally looked better, but they were close enough. They were pretty close. They were pushing pushing each other, and that was a good thing. Now, yeah, they have to do something because third parties are going to walk away eventually. They're going to say, we just can't keep developing.
And I've said it before, and I think a lot of it's going to come down to, look, and I've said it, and people can still disagree with me, but the Steam Deck and cloud gaming are pushing into Nintendo's market.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Nintendo hasn't had to really fight anybody else in their handheld / hybrid console market. I don't consider them a straight up console.
See,
I think they share the market space with PlayStation and Xbox, but they aren't actually fully in the market space. They kind of have their own little piece.
No, they are their own. They're their own market, yes.
But they've been always looking for that. They're cowards in a way because they don't. Every time they have to compete, they want to find that app. Because with the Nintendo, they were the only game in town. Then there was Sega, but nobody really cared. They had a little bit of competition during the Super Nintendo era, but they sort of handled that plainly. And ever since they left the Super Nintendo era, they've always been chasing another company.
Because even though everybody loves the Wii and what it was, and it was an okay machine, but even back then, I saw the writing on the wall for some of that. I mean, you couldn't play CDs in it, you couldn't play DVDs in it. They wanted none of that. And though the nunchucks and stuff were cool for some of us, they aren't the world's best controllers to try to use. You know, it's
No.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
They freaking
What do you
launched the
mean,
Wii.
Paul?
They freaking launched the Wii at 480p. I remember with the 360 and PS3, they were putting out 720 and 1080.
If you can masturbate, you can use a Wii controller.
Damn right.
It's just their mentality that
The ultimate potato system.
It was.
Because the whole fact that at the time, I wouldn't want to, if I have something like that up next to my TV at the time, I wanted to be able to, if I want to listen to music, I have a CD player. If I want to watch a movie, I have a DVD player.
Yeah. Versatility.
By saying that this little box who can hold these discs isn't going to be able to run any of these discs,
right?
Then what the hell?
No, I mean Nintendo was smart. I mean, they still are smart because I don't know, was smart and a little bit lucky. It's a little bit of both, right? It's smart and lucky because obviously they thought they were going to strike lightning in a bottle with the Wii U, and it didn't happen, right? But like I said, we kind of know the reasons why. But then obviously, they catered to their strength. What was their strength? Their strength was in the portable division, where the Nintendo Game Boys, the DSs, have dominated for years. And that's what they did, is they said, well, here's how we kind of strike two lightning in a bottle in one time. We make a console that's essentially a portable, so it captures our portable market. They didn't have to make a separate portable this time. And it's also because you can hook it to your TV. It's now a docked console, so it kills two birds with one stone. And that's why people love the Switch. You can take it on the go. You can play it at home. It did what the Wii U set out to do, essentially, but the Wii U was more confined to in the house. This does a little bit of everything. It's like your Wii U, and you take a Game Boy all in one, and boom, there you go. You got the Nintendo Switch. And power. I mean, for the majority of stuff, especially for Nintendo, they've never needed power because Nintendo's never really relied on a whole ton of 60 frame games or realistic graphics. They've all of their systems have largely been underpowered compared to the competition, but they know how to maximize their games for their console because they know what it takes to run them. They know how to obviously optimize their game engines to make them play the best for the most part. So like I said, Nintendo is a little bit genius, a little bit lucky, and they cater to a market that largely strays away from a lot of the Xboxes and PlayStation because again, it gets that family market that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go on and beat the drum to death here, but like I said, I love what Nintendo does in a sense, but they just Like even said, like, how come they don't have the Player's Choice series? They had them with every other console in the last few decades, but they don't have it with the Switch, which means their games are always full price unless they go on sale. And when they go on sale, they're still like just $20 off. It's not like they're half price or they're $30 Canadian.
Or $19.99 or something.
Yeah, you're still paying a fucking arm and a leg for games that are 4 and 5 years old. I'm like, so basically they know what they're doing. And I get it. You're charging more because it's on the little, it's on the little card, right? And the RAMs or the ROMs or whatever the fuck you call them, they do cost a bit more, obviously, than pressing a disc. But they don't like at this point, Nintendo's making money on all of their games and certainly on their consoles, right? They're making bank. They're hauling it in. The rest of the companies are fighting tooth and nail to make anything other than making it on their controllers. So, and Nintendo's even jipping you on that, charging $100 for a Nintendo Pro controller. Right?
But how many times are they gonna skirt away from the competition though? That's the problem. Nintendo
it'll catch up to them eventually. That's the thing.
Well, that's the thing is, and that's what I was gonna say. The marketplace in general is changing, and they've managed to not change very much over the last 30 years. But
Paul, you're drowning out.
Now we're getting to a point to where they need to change something. I mean, even as something as simple as I know that adding a friend in a Nintendo system is a serious pain in the ass. But now that social gaming is becoming more of a thing, hopefully their next system will address that for one thing. It's like, here's my friend code. It's a 12-digit, totally randomized, doesn't make any sense code. Good luck with that.
Here's a revolver and a bullet. Fuck you.
If they release their version of the Steam Deck, just a more powerful Switch that can play third-party games within some sort of level of parity, and plays all of their games flawlessly, they're gonna have a hit. And I hope they realize that fact. I hope they don't say, oh my God, now we have to compete with Steam and Neo, and oh my God, let's go find another freaking blue fucking ocean that nobody else is waiting in, right? And so yeah, but it's going to cost them. It's going to cost them to get those premium chips, especially now with the environment the way it is, and they're going to have to sort of sacrifice that idea of, oh my God, we have to still make money on the console. Well, why the fuck do you care if you're making money on the console? Your goddamn games are still selling for $60 a pop. Hell, I want to bet. I want to buy Broken Watch for $60.
And the fact that you Switch owners will buy the same game over and over again every 3 years. When they
well, I mean, yeah.
And the guy who's the president in America, his name is Doug Bowser.
Jesus.
Can we be totally surprised? I mean, what a coincidence, that your guy's Bowser.
Actually, that's totally why he got the job.
Yeah, you gotta know that was it.
Are you qualified? What's your last name? Bowser. I'm pretty sure the guy's gonna laugh. Like,
but
he has no fucking personality. He was on the Game Awards shows. He has no fucking personality.
Hey.
I mean, I miss that one speech that Reggie had. Sort of trumped everything that he did in that entire Game Awards show. You know,
well, that's why Reggie's still there. People love Reggie because Reggie just got that personality, right?
Yes.
Not all executives or game developers are great on stage or in front of people. That's not their drive.
Yeah.
Well, he was also willing. He had a sense of humor, and he was willing to let people mock and play and do all the crazy shit they did. It was awesome. Yeah.
He's straight corporate. I'm sorry to say that. I mean, Bowser is straight corporate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can pretty much tell who religiously plays games and still has a corporate job, and the guys who are just hired because of their number wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The pencil pusher corporate guys.
Yeah. Or their name in this case. Yeah.
If Nintendo focuses their system on having like DLSS and doing backward compatibility to actually make their older games look new and fresh on the new system, honestly, I mean, I'll be fucking there day one. That would be amazing. Playing like Breath of the Wild like you would on a PC. No, I will not be the only one.
No. I mean, I'm not saying you're not the only one. I mean, everyone would be jumping on. Everyone has a soft spot. Anyone who's a gamer, especially in our generation, has a soft heart for Nintendo. The reason we have fallen out of favor is because of all the shady shit that they do. You know?
Well, shady shit and just seemingly lazy or you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you wasting time?
We got into Nintendo because we got into Nintendo as kids, but the problem is that Nintendo now still treats its older fans as
like kids. Yes, that is an issue.
See, Toys R Us did that, and see what happened to that.
And so some of us who, I was already an adult when the Nintendo got big. But still, I'm a gamer. I've been a gamer my whole life, and they've kind of left me behind. There's no reason I have to go back to play the newest iteration of Mario. I don't want to go back and play the new, whatever, Princess Zelda and all that. I just, I like.
You don't want to play with Princess Zelda? Speak for yourself.
I like retro to a point, but at the same time, I still move forward. I still want to see bigger, better, more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. It's only a matter of time, and I have a huge suspicion that we'll see something from Nintendo on their successor in 2023, and then probably see their successor by 25 at the latest. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but that's my prediction. Let's get ready to close the show, and before we do, let's bring in, of course, a couple of the most popular guys, or least popular guys, depending how you want to look at it on this panel. The moment everybody waits for. Safe Sam and Cletus are in the building, and they're ready to close her down. So if you got any questions, now is the time. Perhaps some of the ladies in the chat may have a question for Cletus or Safe House. I'm certainly the panel always does. So go ahead, everybody, drop those questions. They're ready. Either or, Cletus or Safe House.
Hey, Safe House. What do you hope? What are you hoping Cranky Claus brings you for Christmas this year?
Well, there's only one kind of Christmas present that this guy over here, this Safe House Sam, baby, it really wants. And that's always some naked girls underneath the tree, because I'm gonna get some mistletoe for the camel toe, baby. Yeah, let's go deep in the hole. Let's lose control. Santa, bring that chicks, because I'm ready to lick something here. Safe House Sam, what's up, motherfucking cockasses?
Do you hope Cranky Claus goes down the chimney or comes through the back door?
fucking Cranky Claus, motherfucker. I don't care what he better make it fucking quick. He better be fucking quicker than a fucking virgin at a fucking whorehouse. You know what I'm saying? He better make it fucking quick. He better get in here and he better leave because honestly, I got no time for some fucking fat motherfucker sticking around too long around my fireplace. You know what I'm saying? I got too many dangerous goods up in here. Plus, if he starts shitting himself for eating too many cookies, I don't want no stench around my tree. This ain't a methane whorehouse. You know what I'm saying? Like Santa Claus, you get your fuck out of here. You drop what you need to do, but you better leave quick and you better leave some tips up in here. I'll leave you a nice glass of spiked eggnog. How about that? And some fucking fantastic cookies for your long journey. And may you shit yourself while you're in your sleigh.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. So I want to know, how was the Game Awards? You look like you were having a good time. Right?
I thought the Game Awards was fantastic. I like. There's a lot of stuff I like. I mean, sometimes, first of all, okay, let's start with this. The show opened with Sydney Goodman. Like I said, I could care less for that fucking dress. She looked like Big Bird fucking took a shit, fucking shat on some glue stick, you know what I mean, and it stuck onto her. But honestly, like I said, Wize Old Gamer said her thighs was definitely kicking. Let me tell you, cokeheads. Yeah, her thighs was clicking. And then we had Animal. He was one of my favorite Muppets. Can you tell why? Because, Animal always looks like he's about ready to pop a lid, you know, just like Safe House Sam. Me and him got a lot in common. Oh, yeah, baby. Yes, we do. We're banging that drum all day long. And then, of course, you know, Christopher Judge in the house, the man, the myth, the legend, the goddamn speech maker. Let me say, he almost opened and closed the fucking show with that thing. Holy fuck. Then you had Mr. Ancient Godfather himself was in the fucking building. Yes, Mr. Al Pacino, Scarface. Yeah, say hello to my little fucking friend. Well, I don't think he can read the little fucking teleprompter, but hey, you know what? He's a legend, but don't bring him back no fucking more. He can't see fucking shit. He can't even talk anymore. And on top of that, then my long-lost brother, I swear to God, he could be related to me, and that's Mr. Michael Madsen fucking come out on that stage. And I tell you, I swear, I was going to say, for a second, I was like, hey, is Michael Madsen trying to do a fucking Save House Sam impression because it's pretty damn close? You know what I'm saying? I think this guy is high or he's eating a bunch of, I think he ate his whole cigarette pack today. But yeah, baby.
Just like you. Just like you. Did you light them first, though? I think you did.
Oh, you gotta light them before you eat them, man. It's hot tamale. But that fucking Jeff Keighley, man, I don't know. He gotta hire somebody else to do that fucking show. His bias is so fucking crazy, man. I tell you, I'm going to call him Sergeant Wontons from now on. Motherfucker, he just got a thing on for all them fucking Japanese games. You know what I'm saying? He got a hard on for Kojima. Like, I swear to Jesus, I know why they call it fucking Death Stranding, because I fucking swear he just died and went to heaven with his dick in his asshole and fucking stranded up there for days. You know what I mean? Motherfucker, I think he did go across America with fucking Kojima in the back of a fucking Jack in the Box. You know what I'm saying? Like, those two fucking guys like a pea in the pod. God.
I got a question for Cletus. Hey, Cletus, what are you buying for your grandma from Victoria's Secrets for Christmas this year?
That's a great question. Paul, that's a really good question. What am I going to get my grandma for Christmas? Boy, she got almost everything, so I don't even know what I'm going to get her anymore.
From Victoria's Secrets.
But, well, you know what? I think what I will do is I'll get upstairs with a nice brush, and I will clean the urine out of her fucking, out of her retainer jar. Because she's a little senile, right? She gets a little blind and she don't know where she's going. Sometimes she pisses in anything that looks like a mug. You know what I'm saying? So I swear to God, that's why her breath smells like piss. But I do some of that. I don't know. Perhaps I get her a new dildo too. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, Grandpappy, he don't get around too much anymore. So maybe I give her a little dildo, something real powerful, you know, something that comes with the Energizer batteries. I think she needs like that Energizer bunny dildo. I think she'd like to cuddle that and fuck it at the same time. See what I'm saying?
Maybe one with a chainsaw motor. Could happen.
That'd be really cool. And chainsaw it is. It looked like a Gears of War Lancer. Put a deal on that motherfucker. Let that soccer.
Hey, Cletus,
I've heard that your grandma's the one who actually used the original Steely Dan.
She did. She did use a Steely Dan. I'm telling you that. I don't know if it was called Steely Dan, but yeah, let me tell you, yep, you could catch you
For
could
the
catch
young
aluminum
people in the
splinters
audience,
your lips.
for the young people in the audience, Google that shit. Okay.
But I'm always excited for Christmas because there's always lots of good food to eat, and usually I have an abundance of cousins around, which means we're ripe for the taking. There's extra poontang getting around the dinner table. Know what I'm saying? There's nothing like a finger in the turkey and a finger in your cousin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yep, indeed. Finger looking good.
Hey, Cletus, do you prefer your cousins with Tourette's or with Parkinson's?
I fucking love the Tourette's, man, because you get somebody different every 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? 1 second she's ready to love you, next second she's ready to kill you. You never know what you're gonna say, but you're gonna be really fucking excited and you're scared at the same fucking time. It's kind of cool. I don't really like if they got was it Alzheimer's you said?
Oh, no, Tourette's or Parkinson's.
Oh, Parkinson's. I thought you said Alzheimer's because I don't really want them if they got Alzheimer's because they can't remember anything they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They might tell you they're gonna make love to you 1 second, and the next second you find them out in the backyard and they're just getting ready to fuck a pig or something. You know what I'm saying? So no.
That's right. I hear that Michael J. Fox makes a hell of a martini.
Shake it, not stir.
Look at his ham solo in the chat. He came in at just the perfect timing. He must have heard all about the cousin finger and came in here. Ham solo. Good to see you there, buddy.
Don't you have a video?
Welcome.
I like his name, Ham Solo. That's the nickname I gave my penis one time, Ham Solo.
Hey, Cletus, don't you have a video on YouTube? 2 cousins, 1 cup.
Yeah, probably do. Probably got 20 cups and 5 cousins.
Maybe even a couple of pigs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a chicken for good measure.
Absolutely, just for good measure. The more the merrier. Just bring them on down. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for Christmas, man. I'm super excited. Every year it's fantastic. I love it. How about you guys? You love the Christmas? I mean, it's really nice. There's a nice the turkeys and all the cookies, and sometimes you get a little extra like an egg and egg with the spiking stuff in it, and then you get a little bit fruity loopy. Love that stuff.
Hey,
I
Safe
love
House.
to baste the turkey.
Hey, Safe House. How do you stuff your turkey, and do you pay her afterwards?
Oh yeah, baby. Let me tell you, at Christmas time, when I bring the hooker over, that's her middle name is Turkey. I stick her ass up in the air, baby. That's what I do, and I stuff her all night long. That's where I go. She said, "What part of the turkey do you like the best?" And I say, "What do you don't like? I like the breast. I'm a breast man. I like big, bold titties." That's
well, now that you mention it, okay, here we go. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Look, man, lots of guys out there, they all get infatuated with ass. But my thought is, look, the ass. Oh, sorry, man. The ass, I'm already sneezing because I can smell ass already. That's the problem. When I'm looking at ass, I'm thinking, there's farts coming out of it or the shit coming out of it. So why would I want to put something in there when there's always fucking stuff coming out of there? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
We got a question for Cletus from Sir X-Man. Do you want to read it, Darth, or do you want me to read it?
No, I'll let you read it, sir.
Hey, Cletus, can you find Paul's nuts?
There ain't a powerful enough fucking micro. Oh, well, that's for Cletus. Hang on. Cletus, you got this question's yours.
He fiddly diddly. I couldn't find Paul's nuts with the most powerful microscope in the universe. First
Like
of
a
all, here's the
microscope.
problem with Paul's nuts. First of all, he's going to give you a fucking instruction manual, right? He's going to tell you how to get down and how to use it. And then he's going to have another manual about accessibility options for his fucking nuts. And then he's got the wheelchair options for his nuts. He's got them fuckers strapped up and rolling out, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I can't find it. You can't find something that don't want to be found, you know what I'm saying?
my nuts are ADA compliant. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I know. He's talking about that manual he had to read to find it. Man.
That's
Son of a bitch.
Finding Paul's nuts is going to be the new game nominated for accessibility in the Game Awards next year.
Finding Paul's nuts sounds like a great game. Yeah, Finding Paul's nuts.
Yeah. It's like Operation.
Super high
Quite a
level
lot different.
pants.
you touch it wrong, Paul's nose turns red. So,
Fuck you.
Actually, I'm under NDA, but I can tell you that the planets you're going to go in Starfield are modeled after my nuts. So
That's sexy.
I thought some of those aliens in Callisto Protocol were modeled after your nuts.
I thought those guns on Highland Life looked like his nuts.
They talk back to him too.
Exactly.
Being harder.
Well, anyway, another fantastic show. Thanks to Cletus. Thanks to Safe as Sam. Obviously, thanks to Arnold earlier tonight. And, of course, thanks to Krusty Claus, a.k.a. Santa, was in the building. He'll be back again next week. And speaking of next week, we got a dynamite show. She's been in the chat all night long, but next week she will be live in person right here with this crazy cast of characters. She is a brave girl for coming on here. Yes, the one, the only Phasma is going to be our guest next week for the Christmas edition. It'll be our wrap-up show until I think we come back in the new year, quite possibly. So, yeah, it's going to be a good time. We look forward to having you here. But let's get to the outros. Again, the chat, you guys have been amazing tonight. Tell us, Ray, Phasma, Ham Solo, Salty was in here earlier, Dizzy Delta, Mike. The list goes on. Jedi Knight Peter in the building. What's going on? I saw Lemon in the building earlier tonight. Dion Hayes, Tony Grasso, Casket Repair, Doggy Dog, John Wolf, Victor Click, Supersonic Station, so many more. You guys are amazing. This chat has been dynamite all night long. Thank you for the love and the support. Please hit that like, comment, subscribe button. Share this out. For the love of God, let's get more people in here. I'm not buying that it's too late excuse. If these guys on the East Coast can stay up and do the podcast, certainly, Lord, people can watch it. Plus, you can also check it out on the replay. So, no excuse. Now, let's get to it. Masuko, what's happening, man? Thanks for being here. Always a pleasure. But let's get out of here. Yes, we look forward to having you next week, Phasma, especially Wize Old Gamer. I think he's already got a special shirt pulled out of the closet, or perhaps he doesn't have a shirt at all, as we saw tonight.
Yeah. Remember, Phasma, if when you show up next week,
I'm waxing him.
The restraining order is on pause next week, so that you can be here.
Yeah, I heard Wize Old Gamer's going to do the show upside down with a tank top around his testicles.
Well, he'll look better then. At least he'll look better.
Who said there was going to be a tank top involved?
And the leather dog mask too.
When you turn yourself upside down, do you kind of look like Gru from the Minions? But anyway, it should be a fun time. Let's let these guys get to the outros. We'll start with the Wize Old Gamer. What's happening with you next? What shows are you on? And where can people catch up with you?
Yeah, you can find me every Friday on Doomsayers Network, Order of Disorder at 6:30 Eastern Time, and we also have a special show on Sunday as well at 10 a.m. Eastern. So this is a holiday show. So yeah, come on, check us out. And of course, I will always be here every Tuesday as long as we're doing the show here until I can't do it anymore. So yeah, want to say thank you for the chat. You guys were awesome. I love reading all of your comments and everything. It was really a blast and all that. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I got.
Well, we're glad you can be here, Wize, as always. Let's get over to Mr. Cerebral Claus. You're always a busy man when you're not on this podcast. If it's not streaming, you're doing other podcasts. So let people know where they can catch up with you.
Okay, so let's see. Next one is Thursday. Hopefully, 4GQ TV will get off their butt and we'll actually have a show. Sunday is a very special day for me. It's my birthday. So for those of you who want to give me a gift, the Cash App is Cerebral Paul. You can find no. I'm only half kidding. No. Let's see. So yeah, hopefully
Happy
Sunday,
birthday, old man.
If Doofel had me, I might even pop into the morning.
What the fuck? You ain't dead yet.
No, I've been dead for a long time. I'm just too stupid to know it. So there you go. Let's see. Monday, nothing. Well, actually, that's not true. Monday, on the Xbox channel, Gaming Differently with Cerebral Paul, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday, of course, here with these crazy cats. And also for Retro and Engaged when I'm not asleep today. I was asleep because I had been up for 24 hours. And then actually, it's going to be a pretty slow week for me this week, so that's cool because I'm an old man, So there you go.
All right.
Your wheelchair's not a battery. That's why you're slow this week.
Oh, except I will say real quick, Twitter, Cerebral Paul 1, Twitch, Cerebral Paul. I have been trying to stream more on my Twitch channel, so hop over there, give me a follow. That way you'll know when I go live and you'll know when to turn your computer off.
And some love.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay,
All right.
that'll do it.
Spreading the love to Mr. Darth Praxis. What's happening, brother? Where can people at least follow you? I know you're not on a ton of podcasts, but something tells me that's going to change in the future here.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but one of these days, maybe. I mainly just kind of hang out at Twitter when I can, if I'm not working. It's Praxis Darth, and then Darth Praxis on Xbox is where you can find me if I'm visible, if I want you to see me. Otherwise, fuck you. I don't want you to see me. But thank you for coming. Just not on
Yes.
me.
Thanks everyone again for coming out. Sir X-Men, good to see you in the chat. And obviously Masuko, we get Splendiferous, and many, many more. Once again, guys, you are fantastic. Look forward to seeing you again next
And Phasma, honey, I'm waiting for you.
God.
Don't forget, next Tuesday, the Christmas edition, final GAD, at least probably till we come back in the new year, most likely. So we'll have another bit of fun. We'll have Santa back here again next week. So get those questions ready for him. It'll be your last chance to get him in before he gets in the sleigh and heads out on his big night. But good stuff, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And you know where to find me when I'm not here on this podcast. Catch me on Sunday mornings for the more mature version of Noof Nukem, I guess you could say, which is Good Morning Xbox, 9 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Mountain Time on this same YouTube channel. So if I don't see you here, hopefully I'll see you there. That'll be a good show. But anyway, take care, everybody, and make sure you get back to gaming. Have fun. There's plenty of them out there to play. Cheers.
Show your tits. Show. No, just kidding.
Oh my God!
How was that?